Ladies and gentlemen, Rainbow Six Siege fans everywhere, welcome back to Season 2 here at the Canadian Collegiate League. We have another exciting matchup coming at you live tonight between University of Windsor and York University. My name is Zach Vexel, and joining me here on the desk is another first-timer this week here at the CCL, and looking to dip his toes in the Rainbow Six Siege waters. Cracked Wisdom, how we doing?
Absolutely blessed. Really appreciate the such amazing warm welcome brought in there from Zek, and super honored and grateful to be here on the CCL to sit next to you for my first, like you said, introduction to the Rainbow Six Siege casting scene. Familiar yapping elsewhere, but looking forward to dip the toes into something brand new. It's a game that has thoroughly entertained many before and has some epic casters and history to that alongside it as well. So simply looking forward to being honored to be able to sit next to you today to do this.
Look at that. Epic casters. You know who he's talking about, ladies and gents, right? I'm just saying, I'm not getting full of myself. But there's plenty of great talent here, and plenty of great talent within the players as well. And I mean, what a great, exciting matchup to get yourself into the Canadian Collegiate League with. We have a revenge match, a Season 1 Return of the Fates, University of Windsor and York going at it. Last time these two teams played together back in Season 1, Windsor walked away with it, okay? But will things change tonight? Before we jump on into any of that, though, let's see where the teams have lined up after Week 1, because this is Week 2 here at the Canadian Collegiate League. So, as we can tell, the groups have shuffled. ETS still sitting up there with St. Clair, Seneca. I mean, we've had a couple of teams move up, a couple of teams move down, but you know, I feel like this Week 1, Week 2, and even into Week 3 is that breakaway point, Cracked, for teams to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, I mean, you're only early on into the season. People's muscles are just getting loose. Everyone's getting warmed up and getting into the feeling of what's comfortable, what's going to settle as the meta for the year, what ideas are coming out from each of the different teams here, and who maybe the dark horses is. You're looking at the sides of like your Alberta that have gone up for whole 3 sets of places there with those chevrons on screen, delightfully displayed by that amazing graphic for the folks at home, alongside CESA Gold that are also rocking up quite a few places from those first 2 weeks with the matches, whereas the likes of York's Esports and Simon Fraser are going to be looking to try and swing back harder this week after a couple of disappointing results first time around.
Well, disappointing results happen, and unfortunately, one of our teams ended up having a disappointing result just last week. University of York, or well, York University, ended up coming out of last week 0-1. However, some interesting things are coming into play. Let's take a look, though, at University of Windsor to see what they are going to be bringing out to the table here tonight. The players of University of Windsor are ready. It is no name. What a name. Minsk, Julian Scrumglass, Skittles, and Sonic. I should have checked that one beforehand. It caught me off guard. But, you know, we got some great players to keep an eye out for. And who are the ones leading the pack here for Windsor? Well, only time can tell as we hop on over to see who is the players of York University. We have Shifts, Gabba, Thunder Wizard, Crits, and Tox who are leading it right now tonight.
Absolutely going to be looking at whether the University of Windsor can bring the power of the rainbow in Skittles, or maybe No Name is going to make a name for himself. Opposite to that, Shifts might be showing us how many gears that this York side has got to go through, whether Gabba's going to be on the Yapper cycle of hype trains and going to be showing us some amazing plays to go alongside of that. And well, what else better to punctuate amazing hype plays than the Thunder Wizard themselves? So both teams with some cracking names alongside of the players to be able to roll on with the hype today. But we're going to have to wait to see which one of those amazing sets of players is going to be able to leave it all out on the field and then write in the history books the victory from the clash of the two titans.
Well, these two teams did play off before, as we did mention, but chat seems to think things are going to go a little bit differently today. We polled Twitter earlier on, and we found out that 55% of players think that York is going to take this one tonight, as we can check by the predictions today. 45% failing in favor of University of Windsor.
Interesting split, only 10% shifted. The popularity, bearing in mind how many hands will have had a say inside of that split, could depend on whether that's such a small gap or a large gap. Either way, York are 10% in the favour of the fans at home, and those of you shouting out in the Twitch chat today, if you've got any emotes or anything like that you want to throw out in the chat whilst these two teams are clashing out, then show that support in the chat. We appreciate you all being here today and enjoying that entertainment. But for the side of the University of Windsor, the community 10% lacking might just be what they need to look towards in motivation within that 5 player team synergy instead to make up the deficit. They definitely won't be coming into today's match, though, Zek, feeling like they are the underdogs after the previous result.
I don't think so either, but it does seem like some surprises may yet be on the horizon as we take a look at the maps. And it would seem that York is ready to run it back. They're ready to take the map that they ended up winning out on top. But it looks like this time around, University of Windsor ended up picking Chalet. These two teams played the last time back in Season 1 on Chalet. York ended up winning out on this map. This is the one that they ended up taking. Do you think University of Windsor is going to be able to pull this one back and say, you know what, we're turning this around, we're making the statement here?
I mean, it's one of those maps that's been very highly picked within the bans when it comes through to map selection. Chalet up there with 27 picks, just below the highest banned map so far, which is the other one of the two maps that have been picked by York at 32 bans for Border as well. So I'm going to say, shall we say, interested to see whether two of the maps that the teams consider to be the most, shall we say, difficult to play through are the ones that have been selected for this coming into today's match. We're going to start off on Chalet, going into Border second after Cafe, Clubhouse, Consulate and Bank were all taken out of the selection process.
Absolutely, Chalet, a nice even map, a lot of vertical potential here, a lot of information required on this map. It really does feel like you need to play all three floors at all times. When we do get over to Border though, another fairly balanced map, still a little bit favoring towards the defensive side. We've seen plenty more defensive wins on that map, but I do feel like there's a lot of opportunity for both offense and defense when it comes down to Border. Such an open layout really creates a lot of line of sights for players. When they're attacking, they're able to, create a couple footholds, a couple punch holes, I should say, really, where they can get shots down some long hallways, and then we get over to Skyscraper. This one, though, I'm looking at defense. The choke points on this map are relentless. If this goes all the way to 3, we see University of Windsor starting on defense on the deciding map, Skyscraper. I'm feeling in their favor a little bit for that one.
Map being a home pick scenario can also lead to some interesting tales when it comes to, do you want to challenge somebody in their home territory by putting them on the defense to start with, or vice versa, making them attack in an uncomfortable situation. So the choices going into that potential deciding map might be part of the reasoning as to which of the two teams comes out on top. Regardless, though, Zek, we've got to get through Chalet and Border with each team being able to secure a victory to be able to get ourselves to Skyscraper. So before we get into any much more of that confusion and nonsense, let's have a quick look and think about what's going to happen when it comes to Chalet. We've got the University here on the attacking side of the... It's just going to be, honestly, I can feel like we're going to see attacking strength coming out of York in our second map. And I feel like the W that is evading me right now, because my brain cells have completely evaporated into the world, that are going to be attacking for the first game. They're going to be showing us what our first map, Chalet, has to offer when it comes to starting on the attacking side.
Well, some big things to note when it comes down to Chalet. Information is key. All right, Valkyrie being such a notorious information operator, she's able to place those cameras around the map, and she's actually one of our most banned operators as well over on the defense, coming in at a 21.4%. Not too bad, pretty solid, but on a map like Chalet, I'm expecting 100%. Last week on our stream right here, we went to Chalet, we're talking about Valkyrie, how great she is on this map, how much information she provides, and then bam, right out of the gate, banned, gone, get her out of here. We don't want to see that one. The Fenrir is one that did end up getting let through, but we did see the Azami getting removed, an operator who can place up barricades and redefine the map in her own way. She's able to just place walls right in the middle of a room and just restructure the layout. Can be truly frustrating for a defense who walks into a setup that they're not really expecting, that they haven't properly droned out. Things though like the Ying and the Blitz getting removed over on the side of offense, being some very dominant attacker bans. I'm not really seeing any surprise here. When it comes down to it, we love the 30-second execution plans, the 30-second meta here in Rainbow Six Siege. It seems like a lot of teams overall around the globe, RSI here in CCL, do dive into that 30-second meta. Let's go for the first 2.5 minutes. Let's strip away as much utility as we can, and let's go down and just run and gun, let it rip. Ying, flash him out, run on in there, blitz, flash him, run on in with my shield. You know, there's no real stopping that. The only thing that I don't see right now that we did see get banned only once last week was the Montine, and that's another shield operator who can just be the wall for his team, get in there and just get that diffuser down.
Talking about pace, especially not necessarily being so familiar with the Rainbow Six Siege, but familiar with a lot of 5v5 arena-style gameplay, pace is absolutely the way to catch a team off guard. So when you're looking to push something with tempo and aggression, that minimalistic time that the comm can even come out from teammate to teammate to give the information from where that aggressive blitz comes from is probably something we're going to expect to see within Rainbow Six Siege here, especially like you mentioned with the way that these two teams have been playing so far throughout the season. I'm excited to see whether either the two teams can weather that aggressive storm, or whether we're going to see any highlight plays from individual players within R2 today, or whether it's going to be an overall 5-man synergy that's going to come out on top.
Well, we are heading on in. It looks like we are going to... Actually, we got a bugged lobby. So we're going to head on over, take a quick intermission. We're going to sort on out these technical difficulties. We'll be right back with the Canadian Collegiate League in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Canadian Collegiate League, everyone. We are back. We are ready. We are cooking. We're about to jump on in to the Rainbow Six Siege action. We do have the ban phase already pushed on through, and you know, we see a little bit of what we kind of called out. The Azami and the Fenrir getting banned on away from the defensive side, but the offensive operators are two operators we didn't call out at all. The Deimos, an information operator, good for hunting down any of those roamers, can pick them off, can lock them down, can find them. That's paired up with the Blackbeard as the second ban away on offense. Someone who wants to rush in there. I feel like we kind of took a little bit of what we said was going to be banned and just kind of did something similar but different.
Yeah, I'm going to see both of these teams moving out throughout the map now to get set up for the initial part of the round. You can see reinforcements going up. York getting themselves set. Trying to predict roughly where the assault's going to come in from Windsor. Like you said, the pace and the tempo on this is going to be expected to be really quick off of the opener. So interesting to see how York is able to weather the storm.
I'm really looking down.
We're into it.
I'm looking at this and seeing kind of a pretty hefty bunker down strategy. I mean, we got the Malusi. She can drop down those Banshees, which are going to slow anybody's movements as they walk on in. And I'm seeing traps for days right now. Frost mats are going to go down. You know, you step in one of those, you're going to be caught. You're going to get downed. Good luck. You're getting back up at 1 HP unless a teammate comes and revives you. But the Cap can. You know, this is somebody who just ended up picking off a person from the offense for the opening pick of the set. Uniquely ends up going on down to Tox. What a great pickup here to kick us off.
That first start's insane. We've got this angle from outside of the window here, looking to try and pick guy inside the door frame, gets information, doesn't take the shots, but the second does convert, downs and then completes the kill. Mint getting that one first onto Tox.
Really great pickup right there. A nice little refrag on that operator who went out for the cheeky little spawn peek. You got to be watching out for those coming into round number 2 as we continue on. Sonic ends up knocking one down. Shifts ends up falling. Man advantage now for the offense. Things are looking pretty solid, but through the floor ends up going the cleanup. Julian's goes down to Elder Sigma. So far, a pretty steady push right now. I mean, there's members falling off from both sides of the board, and we're back down to even.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of chuckle from the teammates. They're going to be saying to Julian to get off the roam glass and lock it in. Need a little bit better than that from the first round to be able to pick this one up. 3 alive left on either side, though, and the timer down to 138. It's going to start to slowly ramp the pressure up on the round. Windsor going to need to start to do something soon, creative towards getting this bomb down.
So far, you know, we're getting down to that minute and a half. Time is ticking down. I like what Gnome Name is doing, but at the same time, I'm a little bit worried. With 2 members already off the board for the offense, holding down this line of sight, I feel like it's just going to be wasting some precious field positioning that the offense is going to need, I want to say, but Elder Sigma ends up knocking down Minsk. Another offensive operator. That's 2.
Thunder Wizard. Oh my, sorry to cut you off as the Wizard finds the pixel between the gap and puts down the adversary inside of the door frame. Just waiting for it for just so long, and you just got to hope that that pixel comes through. But if you miss the timing there, that gets really, really unfortunate. You start to see the flank coming in and collapsing in on the attacking side. So a good pickup, and Sonic is the last left alive and the last hopes for Windsor in the round.
Good pickup indeed, and it all comes down to Sonic still sitting outside. 42 seconds remaining on the clock. He's got to get himself the diffuser, and well, I mean, he's got to get inside the building and all. Down he goes. First round in the pocket of the defense. York leading the charge.
Yep, the most valuable portrait frame there. The whole of the window as the man gets freeze framed inside of the window coming through. No, sir, you are not allowed entry. Denied, and that is the first round going to York University.
First round in their pockets. We're going to head on down to the basement for site number 2, see what kind of change-ups end up coming in. The Mira was not banned away. He's going to get picked up here by the defense, by York. So we're seeing some wall denial come in with the Bandit. We're going to see the Mirror. And again, we're looking at kind of a little bit of a bunker down strategy, but some things I am seeing a little bit more roam if we look towards this Warden, this Valkyrie, lots of vision, still potential. And something I said back when we were talking about maps initially, you really got to play 3 floors on this map. I'm expecting this Warden, I'm expecting Gabba to be moving around, I'm expecting shifts on the Valkyrie to be moving around and just covering as much ground as possible. And I'd expect the offense to be watching those windows for spawn peaks this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think York University also going to be a little bit aware of some of the predictable defensive holds, so places that people were picked out from. We saw the shots through the scenery, up through the floor to pick one in the first round as well. One of those more readable spots to hold from there, paying dividends from the Windsor side. So a little bit of adjustment from the York University side coming into round two on the approach from the attacking side. But elsewise, not a bad round to start off with. Not too much to need to fix, like they say in the UK. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, you don't need to fix too much, but University of Windsor approaching a little bit more carefully. They definitely want to get all 5 members towards the building this time around. We're expecting a little bit of a top-down play right now. You know, we're going to clear up, check out for any roamers, check out for, well, Shifts who's moving around right now through gaming, seeing if you can spot anyone else, seeing if you can pick anyone off coming on in. Now, one thing that they aren't going to have to worry too much about is that main breach. Yes, it might be electrified by Tox, but they brought in the Thatcher to EMP it. They're not going to have to worry about the electricity, and they're going to blow a hole right open with the Thermite. No Name has that pickup ready to go.
Yeah, and Windsor from the first round saw Sonic managed to win their fight within their area of the map. Each player on the York University side held their own. Tox there finds No Name with the charge.
I wonder if he blew open. We did see the EMP go down. I'm hoping that that main breach ended up getting to open on up. Otherwise, you're looking in a difficult position where now you don't have that line of sight through the site. Now you are not able to pixel peeking right now through, trying to find the shots as Gabba not able to lock down the kill. And it looks like they were approaching from the back garage instead. Minsk ends up finding the headshot onto Elder Sigma. 1 for 1 now overall.
This is the problem with Gabba and the Gamba. If you don't convert on the Gamba, then somebody gets around past and then the teammate has to win their fight in a potentially 2 versus 1 scenario with numbers not in the favor. So this is a good round again from York University, held in the defensive, but Windsor are trying to leverage something here. You can see 3 players there in the silhouettes through the scenery, working their way towards... Ooh, that's a good placement. The EMP grenade goes down.
They're pushing close to the site, but I don't think anyone really is aware of Shift's position on the first floor coming up behind them. He's looking for the one in the kitchen. He does know Uniquely, ends up knocking down Shifts. Sonic gets traded out by Tox. Tox gets the double before falling to Uniquely. Now we are down to 1 versus 2 scenario. Damage down onto Thunder Wizard. The lone mirror on the defense rotates back around and picks up their lone teammate. Now the 2v2 scenario has the warden available to him, but are they going to be able to retake site?
Question is here, do they have information of the pickup? How well are they going to work into this now from positioning wise, and which one of the 2 pairs is able to isolate a 1 versus 2 first? Good awareness, utility down, close door from Thunder Wizard, just looking to try and probe and search. We're on board here with Minsk, who's also trying to steal the way through towards the site. 15 seconds left on the clock. Something's going to have to happen now, Zek.
Nitro rips onto the... Oh, not going to be able to find it. Misk ends up finding Thunder Wizard. Uniquely ends up finishing it off, and the University of Windsor end up taking a round and evening us back on out.
I'm actually really impressed there. Windsor needed to put the foot down, pedal to the metal, push the tempo of the round. With only time left on the clock, they move through with confidence and aggression, confirm the last 2 kills, and close it out 1-1.
You know, I felt like you were in a great position right there. Time ticking down. Yes, the HPs were low on the defenders, but you still had time on your side. They still need to get into site. They still need to get down, plant the diffuser, harass them a bit, in and out, kind of. You know, you don't need to just run and gun on in, because if you run in one at a time, I mean, we see exactly what happens. The HPs were not in your favor. They are going to run back the basement site, change things up a little bit differently. They're bringing in an Aruni this time instead of the Valkyrie, so less on the information and more on just the denial of entry.
Maybe the early part of the game, just a bit of nerves getting in. Zek, absolutely right. You'd normally think in the 2 versus 2 there with time on your side and not needing to defuse, you play a little game of cat and mouse, maybe run the timer down a little bit, take a bit of pressure off yourselves. But needless to say, pressure will slowly relax off, the muscles will get loose, and the further we get into the game, the more we're going to see these players be able to pull off some crazy adaptations, maybe even clutch plays to pull around off that shouldn't happen.
Now, while we talk about adaptations, I'm looking at the University of Windsor lineup right now, and I'm seeing no changes. You know, they're bringing the gridlock to tracks off, to block off any roamers coming in from behind them. So great job there. I mean, you got the Thatcher Thermite combination that we were talking about, EMP, the electricity, blow them on up. Drone coming out, Gabba chilling over here in garage. He didn't get seen. He didn't get seen. Now he got seen. Now he got to get out of there.
Okay.
Time to go. And then they move on in with the Oh my God, Capitao to sit there and try to smoke off if they go in for the plant, or to, use his fire bolts to flush anyone out from sitting behind cover. I think this is a great push in. It's just, can they make it happen a second time?
Actually like the change in tempo from Windsor too as well. They've not tried to interact with anybody or try and find an early pick. They're just actually moving towards a very heavily concentrated play where stairs and elevation are going to be the aim of the game.
Now, back in round number 1, they took this kitchen very quickly and were able to open up the hatch. Again, they take it quickly, and hopefully they can hold it out. Shifts, though, is lurking around on the 3rd floor to see if he can catch anybody, and it does seem to have gotten spotted out as well. So you can spotted out your roamer. Toledo looking for, Tox looking for the peek right now to see who's actually poking through on this window.
I'm looking both sides right now. I'm looking for Tox or I'm looking for Uniquely. Which one of these two players that's been putting in all the work so far is going to be able to leverage the team an advantage again in this round? The time is slowly ticking down. We're down nearly to 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Uniquely, not only with 3 kills, but 2 assists as well, showing that they're playing alongside the team. And that, normally in a 5v5 scenario, sees more rewards reaped on a consistent basis than 1vs. Gabba finds the first, and that's Mings, the crucial player from Windsor. Also normally alongside Uniquely. Good on the kills, 3-2 going down early. The first frag, only part of the chaos that's happened so far, though. On the Wizard and Uniquely going to make me mince my words immediately as players start falling all over. Time down to 1 minute, Zach.
Basement hallway, main breach is open. Uniquely ends up going down to Tox. The kitchen player is off the board. 3 members of the offense are gone. Good damage coming on in as that firebolt is ripping on through, flushing out the defenders as much as it can. But is it going to be enough? They still can't get a foothold into sight. Time ticking down to 45 seconds. Tox ends up catching Julian's on the rotate around. You got to remember, Tox was there to knock down Uniquely. You guarantee he's going to still be sitting up there to get any cleanup. Sonic ends up finding Gab. It all comes down to the one, remember, Sonic, the Thatcher, to get on in here to make something happen. He has the diffuser on hand, but all angles are watching this one lone player, this one entry point. He's not going to be able to push on in at this rate. Gets swung, gets knocked. Tox ends up getting a triple kill and ending out the round for the defense, York.
And we see it again. Tox has had enough of the nonsense. Sonic's been doing some great words, and Sonic slammed one into the corner before that. But coming around the corner, Tox has had enough, puts the nonsense out, puts him down, takes the aggression into his own hands, and finishes off the round for York University. That puts them back in the lead, extending it only to 1, but 2-1, with the first to 7 being success. Looking at a tie at 6-6 with 2 clear rounds being required will then total up to a final first to 9. But we'll come to that later on. Currently, York in the lead by 1.
Tox right there getting that dribble, 7-2, really leading the charge here for York University, looking very clean, okay? We can shy away from the one round that York ended up dropping down in basement back in round number 2. It didn't need to happen, but we're heading back up to the 2nd floor site. Now, they won this one outright. Back on round number 1, can we attribute that mostly to the spawn peak that ended up happening? University of Windsor just being down a man right out of the gate before they could even approach the building? Or is it something else?
I do quite like the way that they've approached it now, and it does feel like Tox, like you said, although they might have gotten a little bit overconfident in round number 2, the round got taken away from them. It's good to see the development from York University, and something I've always sort of lived by as a good motto for gaming is you've winners and you've learners. You don't ever lose, you just gain information to do better from next time, and you can see York University have clearly taken that slight mishap in 2 and converted on it by getting a much more convincing round in the 3rd there. So good to see that development from York. The answer is going to be the question asked from York, and that is, what answer has Windsor got to this? And Tox is going to decide to put a punctuation to the end of that sentence that says, there are no answers here, friend. Uniquely has been banished back to the bench.
He did it a 2nd time on this upstairs site. Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just, if they're playing 2nd floor, just approach maybe all together. I don't know. Make sure you have all drones before even thinking about looking at a window, because Tox is watching, Tox is ready, and Tox will find your head. A great opening pick right there onto the Jackal nonetheless. Now the Jackal has the ability to track the footprints of the players of the defense. Not going to have that on the board. I mean, we have the Deimos, but he's banned away. Now the Jackal's gone. You're not going to be able to clear out any roamers. You're not going to be able to locate Tox and then pick him off.
Information is key in these kind of scenarios as well. Tox is there again for 2, and Tox on 3 for the round, looking to try and make the game their own, all on their own. 2 more short of the ace, and this is going to be mad Tox madness all over the map. You might as well call it Toxic Gas, because he seems to be everywhere. Oh, No Name's got some ideas of their own, though. Thunder Wizard now shorted out. Clouds being sent on as sunshine on the horizon is the hopes for No Name. First kill of the match.
Tox lurking around Bar Gaming, has one sitting right above him in Library. Lots of drones coming in for University of Windsor, and I cannot blame them. Tox is looking for it, finds the quad! One away from cleaning up the round all by himself. It ain't gonna happen. Minsk finally shuts down Tox.
Is Minsk inspired? Has Tox for 4 decided to drive Minsk to madness? He's only got 3 more left to get themselves, and Shifts is looking a little bit weak in the knees. There's a lot of health missing and not so much left. Gabba riding on 2s in all areas, kills to deaths to assists, and Elder Sigma on the back as well. This is a tough one for Minsk, but with everything in their favor and 48 on the clock, there's enough time to make it happen, I would feel.
Time ticking down. The ace opening up, has the diffuser ready. Unfortunate location for Castle Barricade, zoning him off of that one entry point. Has 3 defenders he has to chew through, but if with the HP bar of that Valkyrie, maybe not as much. Looks around by the piano, but doesn't snap onto the frost in time. Gabba holding the angle hard, ends up cleaning up and cleaning the round. York ends up taking 3-1.
And there's the composure again. 3rd round, Gabba holds strong. Doesn't get over aggressive and challenge into the wall on the negative angle, swinging the left-hand side, just holds it tight by the box, comfy as day.
We're going to go on down to first floor kitchen dining. Can't go back to basement yet. Can't go back to that second floor. Is so far, York, you know, like you said, that slip up back in round 2, it happened. Let's get that out of the way. Let's clean up our gameplay from here on forth. Maybe chat is onto something, or maybe Chalet is York's map. Remember, University of Windsor are the ones who did pick this one. So once we do get to the half, we're going to be switching sides to see why they ended up picking this map. See if they can pull it on back. But for now, we still have the first half, and York is looking to pull ahead very nicely, very cleanly, and cement a lead here in map 1.
And it looks like those at home on Twitter that voted in the favor of York University. The 55% looking to be the ones seeming with the smarts at this time in the game. Still lots to go though, only 4 rounds in the first in our best of 3 here. So what's still to be played for? This, you've got to think, though, Zek, is the time where Windsor's got to look to pull something back. We talk about momentum in the long game of a best-of-3 series. Getting yourself down too many rounds in a snowball situation in the first game is something that can affect you all the way down. So looking to see a response from Windsor right now.
I'm interested in seeing this kitchen dining setup right now coming out of York. We generally see a little bit more of a lean towards Bar Gaming, the other first floor site where we see a good bunker down strategy with, oh, I don't know, the Mira, the Malusi, the Capcan, the Castle that we see entirely in the roster of York. Add on some information with the Valkyrie, bringing that one on back. Yeah, it just seems like they have the lineup that is working for them. They're going to keep at it. They're going to run it back. And like you said, if it ain't broke, we ain't going to fix it.
And no need to. Success sees similar activity converted on more consistently. The more you get used to it, the more the muscle memory settles in, and the more you just become familiar with the movements. It becomes second nature. You hip fire people at spots because you're so used to peeking it that you're able to think about things in a much more complex level of detail. That's where these massive clutches come out. You know, the players that are at the top level of their game are so naturally used to their movements that they're able to come up with these crazy outplays and positioning when it comes to stuff like that. No Name's going to find the first opener onto Gabba in this one, and as I'm yapping on, Gabba's having none of it too. Distracted as well, it seems. This is going to see Windsor at an advantage in the numbers.
Tox has seen some good damage as well, seen better days with that HP bar. We'll see if he can end up holding on out. The Nitro rips. It does not connect, though. Plenty of damage onto No Name. The Grim is 1 HP, hoping to survive, hoping to make something happen. Sending out some charges, trying to get some vision into sight. They want to track down where the players are at, utilize this buck to open up the floor and maybe get some good picks on the vertical. Because, I mean, right now, you're just in such a rough position.
They were struggling for a second there. Oh,
Tox!
Tox slams 2 to the right, flicks to the left. The transfer is
Tox!
I've seen all week. The third falls down in the door frame, and Tox is going nuclear. Julian's rum glass rolling all over the floor now, empty. Definitely a glass fully empty, not just half. Tox is on an absolute slammer. 14 kills, 3 deaths, and this man seems to be unstoppable.
How? How? I just gotta say, how? How does he keep getting away with this right now? Tox finally going down, uniquely knocks down Shifts, and now we're getting a little bit closer to even on the player count. But man, Tox just being able to walk right in through their own breach, the attacker's own breach, push right in behind them and find 1, 2, clean it on up and bringing things to a much nicer standpoint for York. I honestly gotta wonder, what's it going to take? Do we just need to shut down Tox? Do we need to lock him down? 15 seconds ticking down on the clock, and it looks like University of Windsor going for the push in, unfortunately locking down, finding that Malusi sitting right in that hallway, not able to push on in. Down goes Elder Sigma, and it's all on Uniquely, but time has run out.
That's an insane little round there coming out, and Tox is on a tear. Not just performing well, but feeling himself so much that pushing for that aggressive play to find the flank angle, rotate around the side, and land the line shots of just being able to snap from the first to the second was ridiculous. You get yourself into a position like that and you hope to be able to convert. But to be able to not just convert, but in such flawless style is exactly what you're looking for from one of your members of your team if they're going to help you carry this victory on home.
Man, I don't want to say it's just the Tox project right now, but he is looking clean, okay? You know, I keep bringing it up, but man, I love what York is doing, and you know, he might be getting all the kills, but let's be honest, the setup has been phenomenal. Even in these situations where Tox ends up going down, it feels like York has the tools, has the utility still available. Tox is doing his job. He's getting the frag. Now he's delaying time. He's knocking down members of University of Windsor. Even getting the 1-for-1 is plenty. By the time they finally get to site, you know, you got to get through all these castle barricades, the Malusi Banshees, and any other traps that still be lurking nearby. To me, it's right now, York University is playing their strategy and they're playing it cleanly.
Yeah, and something that you would definitely see seen from the public games that you play on the weeklies or the weekend, Julian's Rumglass is going to be feeling a little bit of that unluck syndrome there. 6 assists is going to be swearing blind. Like, how many bullets do I need to put into somebody to kill them at this point in time? So, looking for Julian's Rumglass to be able to weather the mental storm of frustration in this one and swing on back. 6 assists shows that they are in the right place at the right time, okay, Zach? We're looking at good teamwork. They are trying to work this almost like 2-player to 1-player battle buddy system while searching and probing for an angle to get in or finding a pick. But it's not coming through with anything better than a 1-for-1 trade right now. And that's what's making York University's setup see more success than the Windsor attack.
Well, droned out the bandits, knowing that a bandit trick might be soon to come. Doing their best to thermite it open. Did he get the right wall? He did not. Blast open from the ace. The nitro rips on through and Tox gets the opening pick again. Mince goes down with the nitro.
Just unbelievable plays. It's all York. I'm honestly at this point in time, it's not lost for words. It's stunned by the action, and you know, Rainbow Six has got so much to offer when it comes to enticing gameplay and high octane action. When these players get forced under pressure in time situations to just make something happen, and when the elevation works across 3 levels from basement to ground to the upper floor, it just means that the verticality of it changes all of these angles that players have to cover from just left, right, up, and down to, you know, 360 degrees worth of pain. Speaking of which, through the wall, also something to consider. Never know where you're going to get shot from, visible or not.
They are droning out this bandit. They need to lock down Tox. They need to figure it out because, like we said, he's picking off members. He's delaying time, and it looks like a good approach from York onto this site. Now, they did open the main breach back over on Snowmobile side, so that's good. They're going to be able to have some vision going across site, or even some possible vision. You know, so long as you put in the defense's head that somebody might be peeking this angle, you might be solid. No Name ripping on through the current breach where they're pushing, ends up knocking down Elder Sigma. The diffuser's going down. The first time the diffuser's made its way on down, and Tox realized we gotta get back. We gotta retake site. Julian's Rumglass ends up knocking down Thunder Wizard. Time ticking down. Members are watching. Julian's Rumglass gets retraded out, fragged out. Sonic ends up picking up Gabba. Shifts knocks out Sonic as the refrag and uniquely finishes off Tox.
It's just Shifts, and that's going to be the end of the round, as well as No Name decides there's no more games to be played for this round for Shifts. Eliminates the final here. Some good frags coming out from both sides, but this one sees a much stronger round of success coming out of the Windsor line.
Great job from University of Windsor. You know, it's not the best half that you want to be coming out of, but we are going to be switching sides. University of Windsor going to defense on their map pick. It's your time to pull it back. 4-2 is the split. York University leading the charge. Are we expecting to see kind of some similar trap bait strategy, some bunker down with a roamer. What are you expecting from York with the way they've been playing so far?
Oh,
I give you a
the
good one,
question
huh?
on that one, well, yeah, so given the way that both teams have approached it, it's definitely been Windsor that have been the ones that have played tempo. They've wanted to be the ones on the aggressive hand, having the proactive play, whereas York's played very reactionary. Yes, of course, defending side versus attacking side, that is predominantly going to be the outcome of how both of these teams are set up to play. However, we did see work from Tox on the defending side, taking the proactive approach and making it work extremely well, but picking up the triple kill inside of that flank. So I'm looking for that from Windsor going into this, is to see if they can also replicate some of that proactive play on the defense into York University's approach.
You know, I was really trying to put you out there and get your expert analysis, but man, you hit it right spot on the head. I tell you, you know, University of Windsor was just getting in there. They were getting aggressive. I mean, even in times where it felt like they weren't able to make something of the action that they had, they were still getting plenty of map position. They were getting in there and they were taking as much ground as they can and just closing themselves in on site. It just came down to those moments of, you know, people getting picked off and
oh, look at the tech.
How do you
look
catch
at the tech.
on that?
Look at the tech on this. That is ridiculous.
Wow. Just wow. I'll give you an Owen Wilson on that one. Just wow.
Wow. It's
Oh.
like one of those great old Sillet Bang adverts. Bang, and the casters are gone. Absolutely mind blown by some insane little mechanical gameplay. The break on the wall is actually going to leave Julian's Roam Glass stuck in a 1 versus 2 without his gun up. Elder Sigma going to be claiming the prize from that mishap there. A little bit rough on Julian's Roam Glass. Going to feel hard done by on that one as well. Not having the greatest of games in this one. Maybe needs to look to the Windsor teammates to try and rally him up and get him back into this. No Name we're on board on live with now. Doesn't realise as we do, because we see the silhouette through the wall, that there is somebody holding the other side of that door frame. Are they going to be the victim of the no-name aggression, or are we going to slide on by?
You know, you can really tell Julian wanted to get the run out as soon as that door broke open, but man, it was just York covering themselves. Thunder Wizard ends up going down to uniquely. Minsk falls to Gabba. A nice little 1-for-1, make it a 1-for-2 as Gabba ends up getting a double kill onto No Name. Elder Sigma going down to uniquely. Another double kill for the defender of University of Windsor as well. Now 2-3 scenario. Man advantage for the offense, and uniquely's HP bar has seen some better days.
I don't understand how that's gone that way, and ridiculously somehow, there's Tox to be able to knock one, won't be a round gone without Tox being in the kill feed, and then Gabba closes it out. So just to relay that for everybody at home that kind of sort of followed along with that, we were holding on the close corner. The call out came for a teammate at a different angle, the deeper angle, to be able to find the long shot to the guy the other side of the wall we were talking about, whether they were going to be pushed or not. That, in the favor of the Windsor lineup, should have seen then the kills with the numbers advantage falling in their favor. Instead, York University saw that as their cue to go and started just wiping out the rest of the members left alive on the defending side. So what looked so good went to so bad, and I really can't fault the Windsor side. It's just York University at this moment in time in individual and team gameplay. They're stepping it up.
Stepping it up, they're looking nice and clean. I'm loving everything I'm seeing, and they are just putting a dominant, just really just putting their fist down. They're saying, hey, this is our map. We took it last season. We're taking it again this season. And, you know, maybe we'll even take the set. Who knows? I'm not going to get ahead of them, you know, for them. I'm not going to get ahead of it for them. I want to see if we keep this consistency going. Let's make sure this isn't just a Chalet thing again. University of Windsor, can they pull it back? 5-2. The map isn't over yet, and we are seeing a much different operator lineup coming in. A lot of different operators we haven't even seen so far. The Scopos on uniquely going to have that drone that he's going to place down, and he's going to be able to swap between the two. Julian's Rum Glass over on the Goyo. He can place up those traps, shoot them, and cause an explosive canister to just burst fire all over the ground. And Minsk on the Tubarao, having those frozen canisters to delay the push coming in from the offense as we see them wanting to push towards the main garage. They have that thermite and that Thatcher combination. Here goes the EMP, the Thatcher blowing open the main breach, and it looks like they will do just that. The main breach is open from Snowmobile.
Drone road right instead of left, though, so there was a little bit of information that wasn't gathered on the way in, wondering if that little tuck position on the left-hand side in the corners there is going to pay a boon or not for the player held inside. It was missed by the drone, but a great approach set up here, like you said. Thatcher and breach pushing in, Windsor pulling something together a little different. Now, from my experience in a lot of games, oh, we're going to hold off because action's about to kick off. A little bit of damage dealt down. Tox.
Tox is on offense, and he's in sight right now, and now he's not.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to ask what this position was because even though I'm not so familiar with the maps, it had me lost as well. He was in the middle of no man's land somehow there.
Somehow rushed on in, did not have the diffuser, wasn't able to get it down. Members dropping right now for the offense. York, seeing better days, uniquely ends up knocking down Shifts. 2 members remaining for York. Uniquely lurking around up top. Gabba finds Sonic, and now we're getting close to evening things out, but the diffuser's going down. Getting planted. Does nobody on site see what's going on? The Scopo switches to his clone, but the diffuser gets planted. They're able to get outside nice and cleanly. I stand corrected and not nice and clean at all.
Here we go. We're almost out. It was almost slick, smooth, and robbery inside of the action, but apparently this is a no-fly zone for thievery. This is... Oh, never mind. Speaking of which, Gabba's going to make some magic. 1, 2. Gabba's down, and in we come for the victory.
Doesn't matter. Stick it. Stick the diffuse, stick the plant. That's exactly what you do. Great job from University of Windsor pulling that one back. And honestly, a nice swift execute coming in from York. I thought they would have gone in a lot sooner back when Tox was in the middle of sight for like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. I feel like you would have had plenty of time at that point. But, you know, they ended up pulling it back. They got that diffuser down and they just didn't have the right people in the right places at the right time. You know, by the time they got that diffuser down with the Thatcher, the Thermite was on the complete opposite end of the map. It felt like he had to run completely around the building to even get within line of sight, was able to clean up too, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough.
That's what it comes down to when the time is down and pressured scenarios come in. If you have the numbers advantage, you throw one player down that bomb. Like you said, pros don't fake, get down on it. And in the meantime, the 2 left remaining players don't give the York University last member left alive any space or room. Gabba does get 2 kills, but he's not allowed to clear the space needed to get the person off of the bomb. Great work all around from the Windsor side. Good pressure put down. Gabba, good kills, but not quite able to bring the round to success. Closes the gap to 2. And with setup here, how much more are Windsor going to be able to knock off of the York University lead to potentially take their own?
They want to bring it back, but they have a hill to climb. I can guarantee that much. You know, this is a pretty even map, Chalet. I think it's probably the most even map we're going to be playing on tonight when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. So there's a good chance University of Windsor can pull this one on back. I mean, like we said, there's a reason they picked this map. But there's a good chance as well that York can secure this one. I mean, they already took the first round on offense. Who's to say they can't do it again? We're going back up to the 2nd floor, up to the master bedroom. Already opening up on in. Oh, the peak. He didn't catch the Goyo as he swung on out. Real close right there. So far, nobody's gone down, and we're almost a minute in.
Yeah, Tox trying to play some disgusting little angles there. Not going through one hole in the wall, but 2 to try and find any form of a pick that they wouldn't be expecting.
Angles going down. Minsk, you seen? Oh, there he goes. Gabba ends up getting the opening pick. 60 seconds on in. The Nitro ripped by Uniquely, not able to connect. No name. What is your HP? Change it to no HP. You know, I think that's a much better decision right there. Julian ends up finding Gabba. That's going to be 1 off the board for the offense. And take a look at this. Now Elder Sigma's pretty close to No Name's HP. Look, we're all evened out now.
Everybody's sharing. Nobody's allowed to have an amount of pain without everybody else being able to partake. Shifts, Tox, and Thunder Wizard. Well, there's Elder Sigma being eliminated. No Name might as well be just about there without success found themselves, though. Oh. Julian's Rum Glasses going to knock themselves down with a breach. That's going to be an unfortunate mishap.
Hey man, I was you know what, Julian? I don't think you were far from that at all. According to R6 statistics, you died, buddy. Your own Nitro. That's gotta feel good. I'll call you out for that.
Yeah, actually, after the explosion, our HP was 0, and that is death. So we're gonna calculate the pi angle of x plus y and the physics that was involved inside of that, Julian. And the answer is yes. Unfortunately, we'll move swiftly on from that.
Absolutely. 60 seconds on the clock. Diffuser in hand for Thunder Wizard as they are closing on in to the site. The only problem is they have a line of sight open in, but is it going to be enough? They spotted the one on the ground. A Piano ended up having to stand up with a swing on the breach as No Name ends up knocking down Thunder Wizard, and Sonic finishes off Shifts. University of Windsor defend another one, closing the gap ever so.
It seems like No Name has like a secret passive. The less health that is left on that man's bar, the more able they are to delete people. It's absolutely crazy.
It's inversely proportional, right? So what he's got to do is, you know, maybe help. Julian's Rum Glass can throw the Nitro close to No Name. This time actually like away. and we can delete some of the HP off of No Name. Okay, this is the strat. Then No Name's going to be at low HP. Julian's Rome Glass won't be able to kill himself with a Nitro. That's 2 birds with 1 stone right there.
I mean, you're just talking pure logic right now. All I'm hearing are facts, facts, and hard facts. I don't know what more we need from it, honestly.
Check the replay. Oh, we don't need to check the replay on that one.
I'm definitely sure that it wasn't Julian's Rum Glass at all that killed themselves with the breach previously earlier on in the game either. It could not have been that. It definitely wouldn't have been Julian's Rum Glass, known to be an exceptional player inside this University of Windsor side. But I will say one thing. It's definitely left a little question mark for York University with the resurgence here. If you're going to shoot at No Name, put him down immediately or don't shoot him at all, because if you annoy him, he seems to suddenly go nuclear and pop off himself.
You know, I don't want to beat this dead horse, but I'm going to beat this dead horse. University of Windsor's pulling it back, and they're saying we can do it a man down by taking out their own player. It's a mental game. It's a mind game. It's a mind game. I'm on top of their strategy right now. See, Julian's Rum Glass off the board. Thunder Wizard going to get the pickup. See, he's saying it. Like, I could just not be here, and University of Windsor is going to pull through nonetheless. Don't prove me wrong here. That's all I'm saying. Don't prove me wrong here right now, University of Windsor. I'm counting on you right now. I'm sucking so bad right now.
You love to see it as Julian comes in with the real talk there as well. He's like, man, today is just not my day. Sometimes it happens, right? The best thing you can do is to just smile and laugh and just sort of like bounce it off the top of your head and fight on through. Good shots at the window and doesn't actually find a kill on either side uniquely. Somehow loses a lot less HP than I thought there, not quite managing to find the shots themselves. Tox hears the sound of gunfire and starts running directly towards it. We know Tox trying to get on the action immediately, does then convert, and that's uniquely paying the price.
Uniquely ends up going down. No Name ends up falling to Tox. Tox getting the double kill here in the round. Pushing in, closing in on site. Honestly, they're just clearing the second floor right now. This is exactly how you need to play this kind of map. Top down, check for the roams, and right now, on this kitchen site, the vertical is key. They have the buck still available to them. They have the ace to go for any hard breach that they need. Tracks going down by the gridlock, cutting off anyone running to rotate on up. And, well, there's only 2 members of Windsor remaining.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a nightmare game now rather than Rainbow for Sonic and Minsk. You know, they're in the floors, the walls, the halls, the roof. They're everywhere at this point in time, and it's just seeming like there's horror all around. Looking through the gaps in the floor is going to be something to try and find some access, but this is on board here with Tox, one of the one team holding 5 members left alive. Now no longer 5, 4 as Sonic shuts that one down. Was new holding and waiting for the gap just to wait the right angle to pick Tox up. Tox only having a minimal amount of health left, was able to be sneezed upon and knocked over quite easily. The rest of the members for York University, though, are a lot healthier and are going to pose much more of a problem.
Great pickup, but there's still 4 members remaining, but there's only 45 seconds remaining, correct? And another member off the board for the defense as Elder Sigma ends up picking up Sonic. It's going to come down to the Aruni, and there she goes. Elder Sigma finding a second, and that's going to put the round away for York, taking us to match point.
I think that's where York needed to put the round home there. I think if Windsor managed to pull it up, leveling the playing field at 5 apiece, I think that's where, as the York University side, then the mental does start to take a little bit of a hit. It's like, okay, guys, we dropped a couple of rounds, we had a couple of loose ones that we didn't quite convert on, but now they're getting a bit close. Let's lock it in and put it home. So York University do put one of the final 2 nails in the coffin needed to see us on home for a 7-round requirement to victory. 6-4. This is it for the first and the best of 3.
You know, it's just a momentum killer at the end of the day. You were sitting there building it up, and I think you said it very clearly, quite literally took the words out of my mouth about the nail in the coffin. I felt like if University of Windsor won that last round, that would have really just sealed the mental deal for York. You know, you would have been in this position where, guys, they're coming back, and they're talking about how they're throwing and how bad they're playing in chat, and killing themselves with Nitro. Okay, that's the last time I'm mentioning it. But, you know, they're still...
The positive approach you got to think of it here from Windsor, and I'm sure you'll like this, is, well, now if we're going to be able to take any points from this match, we have to put them to overtime, which arguably would be a heavier mental dent. Copium?
You know what? University of Windsor did win last week in an overtime win, so maybe they need the overtime in all... Right away in the starting map? Come on. This is their map, Pig.
Are they just giving York University false confidence to take them all the way to overtime before slamming the door shut? Is that what we're going? Are we full committing on this right now?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Last time we spoke about false confidence was back in season 1, and unfortunately we dragged that one on. No Name ends up getting the opening pick onto Shifts. Damage flying through as Elder Sigma ends up getting the refrag over onto No Name. Eats some good damage himself, but we've evened things on out.
This is the difference from where we've seen York University succeed, though. We talked about it early on in the game. Windsor picking up somebody on the kill, but York University immediately leveling the trade out for a 1-for-1 off of the information gathering and the quick reactivity and response. This one picked up by Elder Sigma, then sees them dropping off to a safe position so they don't get refragged themselves, and the 1-for-1's leveled. Leaves us back at the stalemate of 4 players apiece per side. Time down by a full minute, 1:55 left on the clock as Minsk finds one onto Gabba. That's going to help start things up again. The action's going to turn on. Good ping call out from the information and utility there. Uniquely holding angle into the corridor. Is going to be challenged shortly.
Tox roaming around upstairs, uniquely sitting here on the Scopos, is going to be able to rotate back to site instantly if he switches, but Minsk is going to knock down Elder Sigma. 3 members of the offense off the board. Damage goes through, and down goes Julian's Rum Glass to Tox. The roam clear for York University. Unfortunately, it does seem like Uniquely not able to find him before that ends up happening. The drop down, the kill, the shots, he gets it. Uniquely ends up closing it out on Tox, and now it comes down to Thunder Wizard, the lone Thatcher sitting outside the main breach like, guys, where'd you go?
Yeah, that one's a little bit of a horror story as well. I mean, imagine dropping off the top rope. Good lord, Uniquely. Definitely finishing that kill off Uniquely.
I was hoping we'd get a pun. It had to come sometime tonight.
We'll see. It has only just begun.
Yeah, now we gotta make puns about everybody's names. Thunder Wizard looking to do something shocking here on stream.
It's good.
Is that too much?
Actually.
No, it's good? Okay.
No, that was good. That was good,
okay.
yeah. I mean, at this point in time, we could almost say you're forecasting.
You know what?
He's gone.
That's it. Chat. Chat, where are we going right now, chat? 6-4, 20 seconds to go. Thunder Wizard against 3 members. The lay down, the shots, that's it. And University of Windsor have won the round, pulled it back. 1 more to go. Still match point for York.
Uniquely. Showing us he's got the moves. Doing it uniquely. And finishing the round off with a great old position on the knees. Down on the floor, prone up. It's good because you swing around those corners expecting to try and aim at roughly like, I don't know, crouch angle, headshot height. You're not really expecting the floor. It gives you an extra sort of half a second to a couple of tenths a second of reaction time. See a little bit of an advantage in the 1v1 and the ego.
Good pickup there. But man, you know, they're pulling it back. They're really teasing us right now. University of Windsor going to head on up to the 2nd floor. All right, they've been doing good at just holding some roam, but you don't have to do that as much here on the 2nd floor. You still gotta worry about people coming around from the flanks, but I mean, you're here up top. This is as high as you can go. Nobody can really, you know, get that top-down vertical play about you. It does seem like York's gonna be pulling that buck out, so gonna want to shoot through the floor to maybe open up some footholes. Maybe get a couple picks up through there.
For those of you fans at home that like a little nugget of an Easter egg of information or a kooky little fun fact, here's some cracked wisdom for you. Tox is the CCL's Wikipedia guy, alright? So not only a demon inside of the game, but also somebody helping out with the community action in there with the stats and the info. Apparently he also just broke his fingernail, and it's bleeding out. So Tox, not caring about physical pain, just apparently gaming on through it like an absolute Chad. You see, even Julian's Rum Glass knows where it's at, all right? He might not be able to get himself through and in and out of the map without breaches taking him out, but he understands fingernails.
You know, it just sounds to me like Tox, being the stats guy, is doing something called stat padding. You know, get those kills up. He's like, I'm going to put it in for myself, whether I did it or not. So might as well do it. Might as well get those kills. Window getting on, opened on up into master bedroom. And York is slowly pushing on into the building.
Yeah, Tox running a scoreline of 19-9. I'm sure there'll be a couple of fans in the chat wondering how long till he manages to knock that 20 bomb off. Sonic finds Thunder Wizard for the first. That's the first frag in this round going down to the side of Windsor, which starting to look a little scary for York University if you're treading the line of nerves. Right now, currently in a little bit of a high point. Heartbeat monitors will be racing a little bit more in the red zone as with 150 left on the clock. Windsor have a man advantage and are looking to try and take us to the overtime that we've been looking for. There
is, in fact, not a pulse, so no heartbeats coming in. But shots get ripped through the kitchen, and Tox ends up going down to Julian's rum glass. It's okay, Julian. You're back in it. We get you for that one. 2-man advantage for University of Windsor. They are chilling, making a 3-man advantages. Julian's rum glass gets the double. Elder Sigma off the board. Gabba ends up finding Sonic. Good damage onto Minsk, but it's not enough. Minsk turns a corner, knocks down Gabba. Shifts. Good luck, my friend.
And I don't know if you're a Black Eyed Peas fan, but I got a feeling, and it feels like our slightly burnt out record of the mockery of Julian's rum glass has finally gone international platinum, because Julian's heard us now and he's come back with a response of his own. 3 fantastic frags find success in here, and Shifts is losing a little bit of his HP. So last member left alive on York University. There he goes down, and it's uniquely finishing it off. And well, we're overtime bound, baby.
Overtime, map 1. University of Windsor pulled it on back, but can they finish it out? They are going to be starting on defense, continuing, I should say, on defense, and it looks like they're choosing to go on down to the basement here to open us up. I gotta ask, after such a dominant performance there on the second floor, is this what you were expecting?
I mean, I know for sure that Captain Kirk in the background is going to be muttering under his breath words of frustration and disbelief, because it always seems to be, every time we go and do something new on the casting bench, that every game goes to overtime as an absolute banger, whether it was expected to be a whitewash or not. So I don't know what I was expecting. Do I care? Nope. Did it deliver? Yep. Am I here for it? Absolutely.
You know what I'm here for? The Monty Glaz Ying play coming out from York right now. You know how we talked about just running gun, pull out all the stops? This is the comp to do it, I want to see it. I mean, they're not really going to open up main. Well, they have a can opener. They can open up main breach if they EMP it. They're going to open this up. They're going to push on in. I'm expecting big things. I want to see something explosive right now come out of York. They have the lineup to do it.
Are we talking like bullet China shop? Are we talking like bullet train through a building? Are we talking like Juggernaut from Marvel? How sort of brute force and ignorance are we looking at here?
Well, the Montaigne has a full body shield, okay? Which means head to toe, he's quite literally covered, all right? Is not carrying the diffuser. Instead, please don't do that again when you are repelling it. That is one way to throw off my vision. Shifts inside already, looking to get some pressure on the site. Take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 members lurking around on the first floor of the lobby. Hey, uniquely, let's see if you find the diffuser carrier. Uniquely ends up finding Thunder Wizard. The opening pick of the round ends up getting trapped in the corner. Good damage comes off. Julian's rum glass finds Gabba. Uniquely finds a second under Elder Sigma. 3 members down for the offense.
It's not clean from Uniquely on the second as well, though, but he swings with confidence, and the confidence allows him to continue on with the spray, gets it converted through. That's Uniquely for a third, and, well, Windsor in overtime are here to play. It's all left last on Tox, and I don't know, man. I don't want to say it's over till it's over, because this is Tox, and if we have seen anything from Tox in this game so far, it's that they have many moves magical to be able to deploy, but not moves like Jagger when No Name's in the stream. Here he slides on in and slams that one home. Tox not being given a whiff of a chance.
Flawless right there, as you saw. Flawless round coming in from the defense, coming in from University of Windsor, and, I was expecting big explosive things. And I guess we got big explosive things, a little bit not in the direction that I thought it was going to go. It just felt like University of Windsor just picked apart that push from York. They wanted to go in for this rush play, but the University of Windsor was just ready for it.
I love the two teams communicating in the all chat as well, having a great old time and a little bit of banter between the two of them as plays do or don't work out. You can see that obviously there's a lot of depth in each of the two teams' textbooks in how strats are coming in and what it is that they've got cooked up, even down into overtime. You clearly see that there was something of like a shock and awe play, I guess you could say, Zek, where it was going to be very much, we are here, we are coming in, and you are going to either allow us or you're going to have to kill us to stop us.
I have to say at the start of that round, I was really skeptical. I'm like, why are they going down to the basement when they look so good on the second floor, quite literally my words, and then they're like, yeah, we knew we could just do better down here, you know, have a nice flawless round. We haven't seen York on defense in what feels like ages. York back on the defense as we switch on over, and here's that textbook strategy, that trap-based suck-em-in strategy we saw, okay? They're pulling out the cap can for those explosive traps. They've got the frost mats ready, the Malusi to slow them on down, the vision from the frost, the castle barricades to just zone people off and slow them down, and Tox is on the move. He's going to delay, he's looking for picks. This is textbook York as we see it.
That's a great approach so far in OT from Windsor, though. Advantage Windsor for the time being. 7-6 so far, and York have got everything in their hands when it comes to, I think, strength. Would you say this map is attacking favored, Zek, or defending favored? What's your feelings when it comes to Chalet?
Chalet, I believe, you know, this is, like I said, this is going to be the most even map we have of the night. Tox finds the opening pick onto uniquely. Hey, textbook York, right? This is what we see. Yeah. Again, yes, again. Again, he says. And again, it may be. I feel like, you know, this is probably... I'm repeating myself, but the most balanced map we're going to have tonight, attacking and defending, both have pretty equal rates of success, and there's a good equilibrium, a good balance on this map. Lots of, no real good choke points for people to move from one floor to the next. Verticality is good from top to bottom, bottom to top, so a lot of options for both sides to really play. It just comes down to how well you spread out and how well you set yourself up. We're halfway through the round, and some good DPS is getting pumped into the defense.
Yeah, I'm going to say we'll revisit this one at the end of the round, so I want to ask you a more opinionated question, but Tox is deciding that action is now the name of the game. No Name being one of the names taken out. Minsk for 2, though, as Thunder Wizard and Tox, the two T's, pay the price together.
Windsor gets this one. They are going to take map 1, so a lot on the line as we're talking. We don't want to go into the extended overtime. Ooh, man, I mean, just right out of the gate, twice in a row, shots rip through, Minsk goes down, Elder Sigma ends up getting the pickup, man advantage now back to York.
There's no way that they turn this around, right? There's no way York University resurges, revives, and brings us back to a 7 apiece for the extension. It's gotta be the name of the game right now. If you're a York University fan, though, and you want hopes left alive for map 1, after such a strong start and a great cushion put in from a defending half, now having to fight for their lives and push the advantage that they've got in the numbers. 3 versus 2, shots ring out from both sides. Ammunition's gonna start becoming a problem. Gavin finds one, Julian's Rome Glass gets one back into Elder Sigma. 2 versus 1, and there's Gavin for the finisher.
We're going all the way. We're going to 15, ladies and gentlemen, here in map number 1 on week number 2. This happened last week. Yeah, oh my God. What is the deal right now with these teams doing this? They're saying they want to put on a show, so that is what we shall do. Content is the name of the game. University of Windsor back on the defense for this one, and they're going to go up to that second floor master bedroom.
I am really curious to know whether the chat right now are feeling good about the prediction or whether they want to change their mind. I'm interested to see who the loyalists are and who the flip-flops are. Who's there to back their initial opinion, or who has been impressed by the other side coming out with more than what they expected. And while we've got to talk about a couple of turnarounds from players, Julian's Rome Glass, who was not having the greatest of games to begin with, has now turned it around tenfold, picking up 7 kills and putting themselves a little bit back in there with the 8 assists as well, also showing some great support to Uniquely, who has been popping off the comparative lead frag. When you're looking across from the York side, Tox on that 21 and 12 KD is also slamming home the entrance frags and making work for the York University side, but each equal efforts have left us at 7 apiece.
We'll see if an opening frag ends up happening, something that Ash is quite notorious for, but chat, you heard it. This is the time. If you want to go back, make it known. you don't get a better moment than this right now. 7-7 right here. It all comes down to this. Who is gonna take map 1? We are on round 15, the overtime match point. University of Windsor going for a nice spread out again, bringing in some new operators with the Ella, someone who's gonna have those explosive mines, and already York approaching quite swiftly here towards the map.
I would have thought the more tense that you get into the rounds, the further you get into, for example, round 15, teams would have taken it a lot slower. You're looking for something high guarantee or high success rate when it comes to the strat of the play you're going to bring into this, because it's all or nothing at this moment in time. You can't make a mistake anymore because it will cost you the map. So what is going to guarantee success? Moving together in numbers, trying to find a 2 versus 1 fight where the buddy system can at least trade off for space, moving to take the ground or get a defuse down underneath enemy eyes without them noticing.
York looking to secure library control. They do have Tox up on the top floor already, gaining some ground. Library control now for York. They're closing in on site. Lion Scan ends up going down. They have eyes through the master bedroom window. They have vision now cutting across the whole top floor. Right now, they're in a very solid position. And look at this, they even have first floor control. Uniquely is very close to one of the members. Does he see the ace? He ends up getting the bullets off and knocking him down. Opening pick for Uniquely as Gabba ends up biting the dust.
It's a lovely little set of shots. The headshot at the bottom of the stairs as well. Good trace from Uniquely. Good crosshair placement initially and being able to follow the model around. Picks up his man. And now is looking to make a massive rotation to be able to put some of that pressure they picked up from the first initial kill down somewhere else. You see them moving more towards the team so they can start to group up, move the numbers forward. On board with Elder Sigma, holding the angle inside. Tox also in a good position to try and repel this attack. Inside gets spotted. No Name wins the battle into Tox though, and that's a big pickup from Windsor. Tox, one of the big frags now, down in the ground. 3 left alive on York University side. Windsor with 5 still left, although 4.3 at this point in time. No Name goes down to shift. Sonic takes out Sigma. Thunder Wizard finishes off Minsk. Lad strikes in the kill feed.
2 versus 3 scenario. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Thunder Wizard is holding on to that diffuser. Shifts ends up finding Julian's room. Glass 2 versus 2 scenario. Now as Shifts needs to pull out that goo mine. It does end up doing so, but HPs have been better before. Pixel Peak not going to be able to find it. Throwing down another goo mine. Going to step on now. Diffuser is going down. Thunder Wizard on site is getting held off. A little rip of the nitro by Uniquely ends up knocking down Thunder Wizard. Time ticking down. He doesn't get it. Map number 1 goes to University of Windsor.
I'm mind blown. What a game. 8-7. Windsor coming out on top as victors after York put just about as much as they could. Everything in the backpack, the textbook, and the kitchen sink into the beginning of that match, but just not enough to be able to push it all the way through. An 8-7 extended overtime victory for the University of Windsor. Well, we didn't see it coming.
They brought it back.
Yeah, madness.
So, revenge match on Chalet. We are now 1-1 between these two teams. I'll see you guys next time these two teams face on Chalet. I hope I'm going to be there to see the tiebreaker. But, you know, I'm looking at even just that last round. Uniquely was able to move around so nicely on the Valkyrie, get a lot of vision down. And, you know, what's going through my head if I'm York University, as you're pushing in, you're gaining so much ground. They took library, they took second floor, they had people moving around first floor. It felt like they had so much map presence. You gotta start thinking, at what point do we have too much map presence? At what point have we made so much ground up without realizing that maybe we haven't checked all our corners, maybe we haven't cleared every little angle and every nook and cranny?
It's an interesting one to see whether the two teams approach this with one of the few perspectives I can see coming here. Tox played extremely well, Uniquely played extremely well. The two played extremely well in slightly different scenarios. The early stage of the match, Tox was proactive in those explosions. We were seeing Tox getting first blood, picking up 2 or 3 entry frags. Keyword, folks at home, keep it in the mind bank, entry. Reason being, the further down the match we saw, Tox was still popping off with 2s and 3s, but closing out the round after the initial chaos had settled. Uniquely, on the other hand, found footing a first couple with later kills to close out early rounds, but then saw much more success in the entrance and the opening stages to the rounds. Personally, I feel like playing that initial entry to your team's favor and getting the numbers into your favor will always reap better results than being able to clutch up after the chaos has settled, because sometimes that 1 versus scenario is almost too heavy and odds to outweigh, even regardless of how exceptionally skilled a player you are.
Oh, Chalet off the board. Our next map we're going to be heading to is going to be Border. While Chalet was a little bit closer to the even side, Border's still pretty balanced, but I would say kind of leans towards that defender's side. This has a much more open layout inside and outside, a lot of line of sights to cover. Now, this is going to be York's pick as well, and we saw how Tox was doing with the line of sights that Chalet provided. Any thoughts as we go ahead before we get into that match that you think is going to be the decider right now?
More defensively sided makes me look to a defending team to try and bulk up on where you get what I look to in the trading card game world as card advantage. All right, we talk about it in trades where you go 1-for-1, you lose a player versus a player. You're looking to try and make your utility or your engagements come out with you having a better result than the people that you're engaging with. So are there places that a defensively favored map can allow us to double down on resources elsewhere? Maybe get two players holding an angle because one can hold better on their own because their angle is more advantageous into the attacking approach. The question is going to be which of these two teams, in that sense, then is able to leverage the defensive side of part of the map to their advantage more than the other. Flip side, on the attacking side, which of these two teams can get as much out of that attacking approach, bearing in mind it is more favored on the defense?
Well, York's map Border is up next, but before we get into that, we are going to be taking a quick intermission. We will be right back with week 2 of season 2 here at the Canadian Collegiate League. We will see you in just a few moments. Welcome back, Rainbow Six Siege fans, to the Canadian Collegiate League Season 2. We're here in Week 2 with the University of Windsor leading the charge against York as we head on over into Map 2 Border. I'm Zach Vexel, still here on the desk. With me is Cracked Wisdom. What an electric start we had, going the distance to 15 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful. After the first time dipping the toes into the Rainbow Six scene, it is great to have a whole 15 rounds worth of entertainment, to be able to dive in and glean as much information into the knowledge bank rolling in onto the second game. So both teams get the tip of the wisdom hat from me as a nod to thanks for the exceptional amount of content that I got to consume from the first match there. And I'm sure the guys at home will have enjoyed it just as much. That being said, now we're going to have match number 2. To be able to see the two teams clash off again and potentially take us to a third deciding map. Now, we've said that the second map that we're going to be going to is border and it is defensive sided. The question I'm going to ask you now, and I'm sorry, Zach, but we'll put you on the spot for the first time. Are we going to a deciding map? Are York University tying this up? Or is this going to be done and dusted for Windsor right here?
Well, border is going to be York's map pick. They are going to be starting on offense on still a relatively balanced map. This could go either way. York showed a lot of aggression back on Chalet. I'm expecting similar, if not amped up aggression. They want this map. They know what they're doing and they're ready to gun at it. Lots of angles to cut through, lots of open space that needs to get paid attention to, okay? Quite literally an entire open area that, if not watched, will cut clean across the map. There needs to be vision, and well, Valkyrie getting knocked off the board. There goes some of that vision. Aggression getting removed with the Blackbeard from the offense. Brava as well getting knocked on out of here, and there goes the Azami. But some things that I'm seeing still available that help that aggression, that knockdown roam. The Deimos, who was banned away back in the first map, still an option. You could still play Hunter-Killer with a single operator, and the Blitz, the Mira, this running gun strategy that these operators provide, still on the table for York kicking off on offense.
I mean, yes, we do see York coming in with a great choice, I think, knocking out that Valkyrie there, uniquely making that work just magical towards the end of the previous game. And I wanted to talk about actually the compositions. The previous match saw almost meta versus meta looking at each other early on, but then Windsor defaulting into more comfort picks to find some success towards the later section of the first map. So, are we seeing a similar setup from that here this time, Zek? Or have we gone back to almost a, what's S tier on the tier lists to work best?
I think on a lot of these maps that have some pretty good signs, and I believe this is just the notorious site, playing Armory over here on border. This is the go-to site for everybody. An operator like Mira, pretty straightforward. If she's on the table, we're slamming that one, we're locking it in. Having one-way vision just to see through this window is a great option. And if we're looking over at the offense right now, with the Ying, with the Monty, this is exactly what I was talking about that running gun, get on in there strategy. I'm expecting big execution from the team of York, but when we do go back to the defense, I'm doing a little bit of back and forth here. There's Bandit, who can electrify those walls, defend any hard breach from going on. Smoke is going to be a key player here in this first round, given the strategy that York is providing. Smoke going to be able to throw out those canisters and just deny that area entirely with that damaging toxic gas that York is not going to be able to push into. Key for this defense.
Yeah, Gabba's been given the diffuser there, brought up by Tox and dropped off. Oh,
he's going for it.
Planted. He's actually just going to hard commit to this. They're going to try and get him through the floor. This is crazy. Oh, there's the C4. There's a great throw out. Minsk with the breach charge, using the utility to the greatest advantage up through the floor. This is then going to be doubled down on. Diffuser going down for the second time. Sigma steps up and is also going to get taken out. It's just shots through the floor. Everybody's forgetting about the death from below. And the York University side are being picked off member after member whilst trying to pick up the diffuser and go back again. It's almost like deja vu on the death site.
Nice little 1-2 diffuser locked in sight with 5 members of University of Windsor. Thunder Wizard ends up going down to Julian's rum glass. Tox gets some good bullets off onto the Jaeger, ends up finding one at least for this offensive push of York. Aggression was the name of the game. The drop down from the Bandit. Tox finds one more before going down. First round in the pocket of University of Windsor. They played that one just right.
Aggressive from both. early out off the opener, and it's what we expected. Pace is the name of the game when it comes to trying to catch your opponents off guard. Any adjustments going into round 2, do you think?
You know what? I think, unfortunately, slow it down a little bit. I want to say, but at the same time, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I kind of want to double down. I want to get that aggression, run it back, and see if we can make it happen again. See if we can catch them off guard here, you know? Let's just... I agree that it didn't go according to plan. So just refine the plan, you know? Don't completely just go back to the drawing board. I think there's good potential with that strategy. I am not totally dead set on the 30-second meta. In fact, I don't even think I'm like 50-50 set on the dead second meta. I'm looking at this right now. There's potential there. I'm sorry, 30-second meta. There's potential to sit there and yes, we can slowly go through, clear out the utility. But if you look at what happened back on map number 1, I don't think that looked well for University of Windsor in terms of they tried to play this nice and slow and York was just picking it off. York was eating it up. If they, who are on defense, go for something of the aggressive run it in, see if we can just push straight into sight as a unit of 5 that York would try to do back in that last round, I can see a lot of potential. And in fact, I can see that coming in from York as well. I like to think, and I say this all the time, you attack how you defend how you attack. So if we're playing for the 30-second meta on defense, on offense, then we're probably doing the same on defense.
I think from the York University side, doubling down and bringing back the same strat, but executing it correctly is a good way to go. I'm always a favor of somebody when you're looking at teams and you try and execute something, a couple of things go a little bit wrong. It's good, like you say, not to just change it all up again and just go with something completely fresh. This time, it's working a lot better. Shifts, searching and probing, finds the first onto uniquely. Thunder Wizard then opens up with one onto Julian's roam glass, 2 down. Quickly, we're not allowed to talk analytics in the middle because action's all about the gameplay. Sonic for the third as Shifts gets shut down.
Good cleanup right there. A nice 1-2 overall. Really unfortunate on that opening pick. We saw Uniquely look towards that window and then look away, but ended up going down. Sonic ends up getting cleaned up. Thunder Wizard finds the pick. We're getting nice and tight. York University cleaning this one on up. Shots through the floor. Gabba ends up finding Minsk. Good damage, though, onto the members of York, but it all comes down to No Name, the loner. And down he goes. Gabba getting another pickup, and we're all tied up yet again. York University ends up winning the round.
Yeah, No Name caught in a tough spot between a rock and a hard place. The rock being the end of the corridor, the hard place being the door frame on the left, both occupied by an enemy. 1 versus 2 into the crossfire and finds himself falling to the floor. Night early round nap given out to a couple early on in that round there. We'll see both sides probably slow it up going into round number 3 because the quick pace approach when the action starts to kick in is not finding either side specifically confident in the outcome. It seems very much like a coin toss or a 50-50 dice roll at the moment, Zek, when it's going quickly. So looking to one of the two teams to maybe slow it down a little bit and show us some composed approach gameplay, or I guess just a little bit less chaos.
Oh, we are going to see a run back of the Teller's bathroom site, so something that kind of worries me about this site is it's so confined, and you have a lot of potential to just open up some walls and extend the site. One of my favorites truly is to extend this site out towards that main lobby, not towards where all the players are at right now, and just kind of seal up as much as you can over on that bathroom wall and, you know, have somebody on the roam to try to cover that one side. It just, like I said, you're so confined. If you do get caught off guard, it just kind of feels like everything falls apart way too quickly. York looked very clean. They were able to pick off the members of Windsor. We'll see if they can do it again, or does University of Windsor clean up the mistakes from the previous round? Can they turn this one around? We are seeing a little bit different lineup. They're bringing in the cap can. They're bringing in the smoke back from that first round. So a couple different denials in terms of a nice explosive trap. Thank you for pinging that one out as we're talking about it. And some smokes who are going to be able to get that gas bomb going off and wall off a nice area for a set period of time. They do have a dock this time around, though, to heal up any damaged members.
Might be necessary in a second. Julian's roam glass, also one of the members taking a little bit of pain, gets that healing just as you mentioned it coming out. Players starting to hear the casting desk again. Tox also feeling a bit of pain, but not able to gain his health back. The side of York University not quite running the same setup here as Windsor. Like you said, that dock going to be in the favor for the Windsor members as they try and defend this approach.
If Minsk is nice, he'd heal Tox. So, He's not being nice, though. I guess he just wants to win, which is kind of weird at this stage, you know? If Kappa ends up knocking down Julian's rum glass, so much that healing did for you, maybe it should have gone to someone else. We're halfway through the round, and it looks like upstairs control going in favor of York. They do have man advantage.
Chat, what is he saying? Searching for success? No way, man. That's not the way to win the game. 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock. Down through the floor. Gets info, finally does by the kill. Gabba managing to make that one look a little bit more difficult than necessary. No Name with some mad moves like Jagger dancing around the bullets, but the kill does get converted eventually and confirmed. Back to the gap we go. Checking again the second time. Tox this time not seeing anyone. A couple of bullets through the floor. Going to put down cluster charge to bury on through. Some of that barbed wire there left by the Jaeger being taken out as well. Sonic searching. That gas you were talking about, but Elder Sigma picks up Sonic as he sees the gas on the floor. Distraction coming in.
Other one off the board. Diffuser is going down. It uniquely ends up finding shifts. Diffuser canceled. Thunder Wizard picked it on up. Waiting for a good opportunity. Elder Sigma finds uniquely. It all comes down to the lone Doc. Ends up getting shots ripping on through. Minsk finds Tox. Heals himself back up. Getting collapsed on. Diffuser getting planted. Thunder Wizard gonna stick it this time. Maybe, maybe not. You don't need to. Gabba ends up knocking down Minsk. And that is gonna be another one on the board for York.
Yeah, audio comes through. It's a good little peek out there. Good kill to confirm, finish off, and finish out the round. Round number 4 coming through sees York University up 2-1. I don't expect we're going to see too many more shifts when it comes to which of the players take which characters into this next one. I think that both teams so far are starting to settle into our second map here on Border and are starting to find their rhythm. So far, it's seen York University a little bit better off on the outcome, but that's nothing to be said for our opening frags of Windsor. And if anything is to be said for game number 2, if it goes like game number 1, then, well, I get a little whiff of deja vu on the horizon, Zek, because York University were in the lead 2-1, pushing it all the way to 5-3 in the later depths. So Windsor may be following the same path for success as in map number 1.
Man, I'm looking at it though, and hey, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a similarity back from map 1 where Windsor wins one round and York's like, okay guys, let's just pull our heads together, let's play this right, we know what we need to do. Bam, bam, that's 2 rounds in a row now. Can we make it 3? I don't know. This might be the tone setter right here. If York can walk away with this round, get that 3 in a row, number 1, but number 2, win the round that they, on the site that they lost back on round number 1. As we head back up to Armory, there could be potential to just get in the heads of the University of Windsor here and really just set the tone. But something that I do need to point out is they're starting on offense, okay? They still have border defense. If this continues in this way, they get to play defense on the map that they chose.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, though, to be honest with you. It's definitely coming down to which of the two teams that are very evenly matched, clearly between the sets of players, are going to be able to execute with a better strat on the day, or which one of them is going to make that crucial unforced error or mistake that the other team is able to capitalize on. You've got Tox, you've got uniquely both sides in the previous map that popped off, and every other member of the team showing up in support in equal measures and similar stances. So the difference decider between the two teams at that point when they are equally matched comes down to the mental game and how the rounds go. Elder Sigma is going to find the first blood after the initial chaos goes down. I thought I was going to say first blood to the action kicking off, but instead everybody seems to naturally rotate away from the angles as the action's about to kick off and reset. Windsor 3 members left alive on the defense. That's Minsk after the reset. Does find a great rotation onto Thunder Wizard.
Good little peek out. Opening breach is knocked down. That is going to create line of sights for the offense into sight, and it's going to constantly put in their heads that somebody might push through at any moment. Somebody might go for the execute at any moment. Diffuser gets picked back up by Gabba, but Tox ends up going down to Julian's rum glass. Things are even back on out. Let's see if they can keep the pressure. Nitro ripped, Nitro pulled, but that is not going to connect onto any members of the offense. Now with one of those Nitros off the board, there goes one of your biggest forms of denial. But guess what? They can't plant if they're dead.
I don't think I've ever seen a metaphorical display on screen of boom headshot. Had I ever had it put in 4K picture high definition in front of my eyes without seeing that there. So some delicious shots from Julian's rum gas. It shows us the fine etiquette of high tier rum.
60 seconds on the clock, time ticking down. Is still 2 very healthy members for York. 3, Very healthy members for University of Windsor. Now going to be opening up the backside. Main breach open from the opposite side. They got line of sight straight through A, through B. Can they get the shots though? Gabba connects onto No Name. One off the board for the defense. Things are even back out as we get down to the 30-second mark. With time ticking, they need to push themselves on in. Shots ripping on through. They have mirror windows available. They have the ability to hold this one off. Can they get the push in? Here goes Gabba. Goes for the plant. Nobody can see him. They can't find him. Can he stick it? Can he hold it? He cannot. Julian's Rumglass finds him, gets free frag. Shifts ends up finishing off Julian's Rumglass. It all comes down to Shifts. Goes in for the plant. 6 seconds now. Time ticking down. Run upstairs. Where's Minsk? He's off site. The plant gets stuck. The plant goes off. He gets spotted. He gets out of there.
There's absolutely no way that Shifts has managed to slide his way on out of sight. He had just fractions of seconds to be able to get the defuse down. Goes in, pros don't fake, clutches in for the activation. It's down. Windsor finds the diffuser, but Shifts puts Minsk down and closes out the round.
The nail in the coffin, right? The nail in the coffin right now. That was critical for University of Windsor. Not only did they need to win the round, but they needed to win the round, not lose the round like that, I should say. That felt really great for York. That is going to be such a momentum booster to be able to get in there, get their pick, get the plant off. And I have to ask, where was Minsk? Minsk was going for this long thought out rotation and just not there in such a pivotal time. I mean, as time's ticking down from an offensive standpoint, you want to be getting closer and closer to sight, and as a defender, you want to be a defender who's playing off site. You want to be making your way back and back. Minsk was on site, went off site, had to come back to site. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just could have gone either way. That one, I know we talked about whether that round would have been a good mental support for the York University side, but that was a little bit close for comfort, I'm going to be honest. Oh.
Very close for comfort. We'll see if University of Windsor can turn it around. They do want to run it back. I feel like they're sitting in this position right now where they're like, okay, it happened. You know, we can pull this one back though, run it back. We know what we need to do. We won back in round one quite decisively too. That's not something to shy away from. They looked good back in round one. It does seem like York does want to go for this slower approach though. They're happy playing this way and they're going to keep it up.
I want to point something out that's absolutely crucial to this game so far. Tox and Uniquely have been the two members from each of the sides we've been looking at that have been stepping up and leading when it comes to both frags and being able to turn the tide of momentum when it comes to each of the two teams. This time around, when it comes to two teams that are very evenly matched and both top fraggers are matching each other pace for pace, it takes one of the other players sometimes to step up and fill the extra gap to be able to push the team over the top. That gap is being filled by Gabba right now with 6 kills and, more importantly, only 2 deaths set. And we all know how good it is being top of the kill board, but if you are able to play your life, you just demand pressure and you take control of an area of a map that just causes so much frustration for the enemy team by you not giving your life up for free. That Gabba is currently popping off and helping York University commit. Boss, we're talking about that. Tox picks up first blood onto Minsk.
Shifts ends up getting knocked on down, though. Needs to get picked up. Shots rip on through. Tox finds himself a second one onto Sonic. 2 members down now for University of Windsor. Make it 3. The triple kill for Tox as Julian's Rumglass gets out of here. The quad for Tox ends up finding No Name. Can he make it on map 2? Can he get the ace? He was denied it back on Chalet. He's hunting. He's searching. He's looking for it. Has the mirror window to his advantage and gets denied by his own teammate. Close out of the round, and York University take 4 rounds here to 1.
Yeah, I think Gabba might have just had a little bit of a nudge towards Tox in between the previous round and the next one, being like, come on, mate, can't be out fragging you. Not in this. You've been having me the whole game so far. Ace stolen once more. Sad times coming out of Tox. But nonetheless, as they all say at home, folks, doesn't matter whether you win by a minute or by a mile. Winning is winning, and 4 or 5, the round still falls in the favor of the York University side, and I'm sure that Tox will be more than happy about that.
Oh, I mean, that one's got to feel good after that. I mean, with how close round 4 was to go back and pull off one like that, I'm sure York is really feeling good. And, you know, I think if there's a time for a pause, it's now. University of Windsor just needs to take a step back, do a mental reset, and go, okay, you know, we got this. We know what we need to do. Let's just catch back up. We have the whole second half still to play. We can do this. You know, it just needs to be this team thing. Once you start getting into your heads, once you just start letting it just cook you, it's just downhill from there.
I mean, Windsor took themselves to overtime for the first. York University managed to take the second map in convincing fashion in standard time, then it would lead them going into that third deciding map with how it's set up for that defending side as well. Very favourable. There's still much more to go in map 2 though before we even get to that potential scenario. So considering that, we're going to rock on in and look to Windsor for a response. On board with Sonic.
Final round before the split. Can University of Windsor pull it back and end this one in a 4-2 scenario? They are changing up a little bit on this lineup, bringing out the pulse. I think they want to kind of go for some little bit of a pick play themselves with this one, and the rest is very bunker down heavy. I mean, you got the bandit, there goes your pulse. Gabba ends finding one, finds two as No Name gets knocked down as well. A good two-piece right now for Gabba. York University leading the charge, but Elder Sigma ends up getting knocked by Uniquely, getting immediately refragged by Thunder Wizard, and Julian's Rumglass finds shifts.
Remember from the last match, this was where Tox puts it down to a 1v3, and we had Julian's Rumglass getting one short of being able to finish it off for the ace. Julian's now picks up his first in the 1 versus 3 this time around. Is it deja vu scenario? Could be either fashion. There goes Julian's for the second, but Tox is more than ready for him to refrag and pick up the trade, and it goes exactly as it did the last time in the 1 versus 3. Julian's Rumglass managing to get 2, but not quite the third. Great effort, but it does see a difference going into the half, and that is York University up 5 rounds to 1.
Closing out 5-1, a very dominant first half on offense here on Border. A very balanced map, as we said, but I honestly feel like it favors the defense still ever so slightly. And I gotta say, York looked very clean on defense back on map 1. They want to take this one to map 3, and they are setting themselves in a fine position to do so. And one last thing I have to say before we really get into this round. I feel like Tox was kind of listening in onto us because he took what you said personally. He's like, I'm the kill leader. I'm the kill leader. I'm going to show him I'm the kill leader. I'm going to pull this one right on out. I'm going to get a quad, almost an ace. I'm going to get a couple more. But look at this. 9-3 now is Tox.
Wonder if he even asked Gabba to pick up a death as well, so they share the similar lowest deaths in the team there with 3 apiece. Now Gabba more than happy to oblige, a good teammate. It's what we love to see there, some camaraderie between the two. But now they'll both be fighting for the top of the frag list. But at the end of the day, I'm sure the main goal will be to try and see their team home to victory. They need to make this one happen, and then another if that is going to be the case after Windsor did manage to take map number 1 home.
Tox looking for the cheeky peeky, putting a little punch hole in. Is he going to be able to find someone? Something I did notice back when they were on offense was there was a round where he went and somebody went to spawn peek the offense, but Tox was able to knock it down. I look at this and I'm like, you know, I say it time and time again. You play offense how you play defense. You play defense how you play offense. I'm somebody who spawn peeks. So every time I approach a building, I'm checking the spawn peek angles. I'm looking for those little punch holes. I'm looking for the boards to be knocked down, a window to be open, somebody to run out on me, because that's how I play. That's what I'm thinking, and that's my mindset. Tox straight there on that as well. Little turn on the corner, finds one, finds two. Gabba knocks him on down and out of here as Mick ends up returning on to Tox.
Talked about it. Knocks 1, knocks 2. It's bowling alley syndrome as not Tox this time, but Gabba gets the double. Minsk puts Tox down and finds a double of their own as Elder Sigma pays the second price. 2 for 2 aside, 3 players left alive. A short discussion between Julian's Rumglass and Gabba finds Gabba the loser in that one.
Offense members still very healthy, looking good. Minsk ends up knocking down Thunder Wizard, and it's going to come down to shifts. The lone Mira has potential, has a nitro, has plenty of ways to deny this one. Good Rosero drone coming in from the floors to flush this one out. Honestly, they have the tools available to them. I'm not surprised by that outcome. Really great turnaround coming in from University of Windsor. That's what we needed to see.
In before, we're all completely and utterly thrown by the fact that although defending side favored, you would think this map becomes an attacking side strong in the result.
At this point.
5-2 on the board, though. Gap close to 3, but still more than enough of a buffer for York University, you would think, to be able to nail 2 more rounds home to push us to a third deciding map.
Well, we'll see if the tempo continues right now for University of Windsor. It does seem like York gonna head back up to this second floor. We're gonna run back the armory. You know what? Mistakes happen. We can fix it. Gabba wanted to be back in the kill leader. I think that's all that round had to say. Is Gabba was like, okay, you guys are talking about me. Let's go and turn this one. We can say this all day though, but keep Gabba on top. He wants it. He deserves it.
We like burnt records. We like redoing things. So I guess doubling down's not a bad thing.
I like to say it again and again. Beat the dead horse. I think it's fun. You know. I mean, we did it with the nitro cell from map 1. For Julian. Okay, that's the last time I mentioned it now.
Julian drops 4-piece this round. He's definitely listening.
Oh yeah. This is called a stream snipe right now, right? Even though we have a 3-minute delay.
Who knew? Some of these players have got that sick of game sense. Maybe he just saw it in the future and predicted it himself.
He knows we're talking about him. He knows it right now. Little quick approach coming in from University of Windsor. I like this setup that they have going. They're bringing in the Dokebi. They're going to make some calls, spot out the positions from the members of York who don't have a mute jammer to go and deny this, so they will all get spotted out once that call gets made.
This is an interesting position here from Gabba. Has the back 2 members inside. Charge in hand, looking. Minsk also trying to fish something out. Definitely has a good idea that there's somebody behind this back wall here, and that's where we're going to go in with the util.
Gabba ended up ripping the nitro and connecting it onto uniquely, so made good value off that one, and we can see the little lovely hole that ended up getting made as a result. Tox ends up knocking down Minsk, 2 members of the offense off the board. Here comes the call. All of the defenders have been spotted out, but I don't think they mind. Play through it. Who cares if they know where we're at? We'll win them in the gunfights.
Good mentality to have if you're up on top, but the other one trying to fight back from a disadvantage, going 50 for 50 in these egos is very tough. Sonic comes out on top against Shifts, and that's going to be a quick one for the University of Windsor side. No name for Tox. Sigma does slide running into Julian's room glass, though. Door frames and windows, doors and corners, everything calls you out in pain when it comes to not checking the right thing. And speaking of not checking, the strafe across the door almost made Thunder Wizard pay the price. Sonic's trying his best. No name goes down. Gabba finding that one. Takes out the camera. 2 down the corridor. Pain, the only thing going to be found if pushing down here. Actually, 1 rotates away. It could be unfortunate timing here.
Sonic.
Back the other way.
He spotted out. Oh!
Oh, what a ridiculous shot. There's no way.
Was that prediction? What was that? Oh, wow. What a shot coming in from Sonic. I threw up my hands on that one. That one just caught me off guard. 44 seconds remaining. Does not have the diffuser in hand. This is a big thing. If York knows where the diffuser is, which they don't because now it's in the hands of Sonic, they can't just play it. Gonna hack, gonna get the cams, gonna get the vision for your team. Now they can make some call-outs. 30 seconds to go, though. And both members of York, well, know exactly where this Dokebi is if she keeps rubbing up against the wall. And now the Dokebi knows exactly where the defender is sitting around the corner. Doesn't matter. They are close. They are watching the one doorway. You have to enter. Shots rain on through. The Dokebi low. Down she goes. Elder Sigma ends up getting the kill on the Sonic, and York take us to match point.
That was a great attempt, honestly. There, it was everything within the hands of the lone player surviving to try and make that work. Swings right, swings left, covers off for the transfer just in case the secondary swings teammate. Tried to cover off the third party, but he's not managing to find the headshot on either of the 2 challenges, and that's going to leave them losing out 6-2. Like you said, York University move us to match point for map number 2, which could tie up the best of 3 and push us onto that deciding map over on Skyscraper.
Going on down to Tellers and Bathroom. Oh man, this second map has just been good for York. They are showing exactly why this is their map choice. I love how clean they look. And I mean, right now, they're on track to take us over to map 3. They're on track to tie this series on up and will keep us all on the edge of our seats. I know I'm on the edge of mine. Hold on, let me sit back a little bit. Man, they're getting me into it, I tell you that much.
I'm gonna say there's 2 things. If you're like a heated, passionate gamer, you get closer and closer to your monitor and you start like crawling over your keyboard to the point where you might as well be cuddling it, right? As a caster, it's slightly different. We just slide further and further out of our chairs to the point where we're gripping our desks for leverage from the anticipation in these games. Trust me.
I'm actually like working on my core strength, doing squats right now. I've completely left the chair, you know? Like, I've slid all the way out. The chair's gone at this point. Who needs a chair? We're doing the invisible bench.
Yeah, I cast from my pull-up bar in my gym, sorry.
Oh. Actively working out while I'm doing this. It sounds about right. Finally, this is a pick I was looking for, the Deimos. Something that's been available all game in this second map, but hasn't been picked once. Julian's Rumglass gonna pilot that one. A lot of potential with this pick to just be able to track out these roamers. You know what? On second thought, is there a need? We know what the defense is doing. They're not really roaming. Yes, we catch a couple people here and there moving around, but they make their way back to site so quickly. York's been very adamant about this turtle up team comp. I mean, we see the Frost, the Mira, the Smoke, the Jaeger. These are all people we expect to see in and around site. The one thing is going to be the Warden pick on Tox, the person who's been on his own roaming around. Deimos spots out the shifts over here, get some good damage off onto the Frost. Gabba, though, ends up finishing off Julian's Rumglass, and now they will not be tracking their teammates any longer.
No Name finds one onto Gamma to return, though. Minsk finds shifts as well, and that's two quick pickups from the Windsor side, which is going to turn the numbers back in their favor. Sigma also surviving on a sliver of health for the time being. Practically makes it a 2v4 right now. Minsk only left on half of their own. Here comes the thunder, here comes the roar. Shots firing out as the roof is disintegrated in front of the eyes of Elder Sigma with that minimal health left alive. Popping up comes the charge. Great shots out of No Name to defuse on that utility. Tox, however, finds uniquely through the gap. Sonic for one, No Name for two, and it's not stopping. Minsk is there to finish it. Wins to take the round.
Man, I was looking at this. All this pressure coming in from University of Windsor, but it just felt like it was all on the second floor. But that's exactly what they needed to be. I mean, honestly, when it comes to bathroom tellers, clear the second floor, clear the roam, tear open that floor. They brought in exactly what they needed to, brought in that ram, brought in that bug, just blew open that entire floor, got that vertical damage off. And, you know, then all of a sudden there was just members of Windsor downstairs getting the cleanup. And there was a moment where we panned over to somebody on York where we had the last three remaining members. It just looked like they were running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Your Windsor had them backed into such a corner. They're rushing back to site, doing the best that they can and just getting picked off left and right.
It sounds crazy, but this definitely is a tale of the match so far across both maps. It's York University, the slower they play, the more positions they hold, the better angles and the channels and the crossfires that they play, the more success they see. The Windsor side, more mobile, quick on the attack. The different placements and the aggressive push has seen them be more successful. So when they're able to shift the York University side about, and when Windsor are able to create pressure in areas that York are not expecting and displace some of these familiar situations, that's when Windsor are seeing the gunfights work out. Also, the initial chaos that continues and continues and continues into just trade after trade after trade is favoring Windsor so much more, whereas York University are doing much better at getting individual picks or isolated quick 1 and 2 kill pickups and then rotating out to let it calm down a bit. Like so, Gabba there, Sonic gone immediately before the time has even passed 15 seconds off the clock.
Guys, we know they spawn peak. This happened back on map 1. We gotta be watching those angles. We were talking about it even earlier on this map. I was gonna say, am I having deja vu? Because I'm seeing the exact same thing. We're back down in tellers. We're running the exact same offensive strategy as University of Windsor, but immediately the zero off the board for Sonic. Gabba ends up finding a second one as uniquely ends up going down as well. This is looking much better as a start for York, and Tox ends up finding misses 3 members now of the offense off the board.
This is the constructed approach we wanted to see. Slower, isolated fights, and every member of the York University side winning their gunfight because they're not being overpressured and forced into these unforced error situations. Each of the members fighting as well, though. That being said for Tox and Gabba, star members been slamming kills left and right. No Name, however, has something to say to Gabba about whether they are going to be able to stay alive in this. 1 versus 5 would be a huge ask. Now 1 versus 4, the first is free in the 1v. All the work left for No Name to do.
You're not allowed the flawless round, but can they hold this one out? Do remember, this is match point here on map number 2. And it looks like every angle is being watched right now. You have 4 members to rip through still. Shots through the wall. Honda talks. It's like, you know, he thought somebody could be there. Got some good damage onto the cap can. Just didn't end up finishing it off and was like, oh, somebody was there. Tox was able to run on away. No Name is just eating goo mine after goo mine after goo mine, making his way onto site. But the problem is, sitting up here, the site's downstairs. You gotta make your way down there. And it just feels like the more you run around, the more this team is just zeroing in on your position. Shots raining through from the second floor, and that's gonna do it. Map number 2 goes to York. We are going to map 3.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The more movement made, the more information is given, the more audio is given, the more information gathered, and it was only going to be moments until the remaining members swamp in together and suffocate the last alive out. Success coming through, MVP. Given to Gabba, very, very rightfully so, I think, in this match there. Talks popping off in map number 1, and even through a defiant fight in map 2 to try and regain that kill lead, Gabba showed us that playing your life and being able to be alive at the end of the round will not only secure you many kills, but it'll also help your team much happier through to success.
Yeah, Gabba looked very clean playing that roam, playing that second floor. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. We were talking up and down about Tox back on map number 1, where he's playing this roam, he's going around and he's just delaying time. Gabba just getting picks, delaying the offense, and just shutting it down. It felt like University of Windsor could not enter the building that entire time. The pressure was on, and that is gonna be border in the books. 1-1 here in the set. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 3 is Skyscraper. This one, I gotta say, defense here on Skyscraper. The amount of choke points is going to be atrocious. Can they end up doing it? It is University of Windsor's map choice. They will be starting on defense. What are some of your thoughts before we head into map 3?
Well, I think for the first time stepping out into the Rainbow Six scene, I have been more than thoroughly delighted with lots of gameplay, and we're going to get a third map as well. What more could we have physically asked for? And for those of you at home that are enjoying the matches, then don't forget to spread your love by helping hit the follow button below the channel here. That's right, folks. If you want to keep yourselves up to date and entertained, notified for when all the action is going live, then you're only one click from the heart button away from being able to keep your schedule updated. Not only that, but it helps support and show appreciation to everybody that works hard in the background here at CCL. Not just our beautiful faces here on screen that help bring the action to you. No, there are many a wizard and wizardess behind the scenes whacking away at the keys, all right, making the magical production happen. So we've got to go take a shout out and a tip of the hat in the meantime between the games to say thank you to those working in the background, also putting in their effort. And those at home, right, Zach? Everybody that's turned up to enjoy the entertainment in the chat today. We wouldn't be able to do it without you guys watching.
Exactly. We just be sitting here talking to ourselves like a bunch of loonies. You know, you'd have to throw us in the bin. But here we are chatting away. Thank you all so much for coming out. Stick with us, though. It's not over yet. We've got map 3, Skyscraper, coming at you in just a few moments. We will be right back with the Canadian Collegiate League in just a few. Welcome back, Rainbow Six Siege fans, here to game number 3, York versus University of Windsor. We have gone the distance, while map 1 quite even over on Chalet. Map 2 was rather decisive. York looked dominant. Let's see if that momentum continues on in to Skyscraper, the final map of the night. You still are stuck with me, Zach Vexel, and well, Cracked Wisdom over here. How we feeling after this one?
Excited and interesting to see whether this game can change itself from potentially a foreshadowing experience. If anybody dropped by the week previous, we got to see University of Alberta taking on Simon Fraser University in last week's game. Within that, again, a similar story, a close first fought match in a close tie, which saw Simon Fraser take the lead. University of Alberta in the second, however, swung back with a strong performance and then saw an even more dominant victory in the third. So if that is foreshadowing for today, then we might be looking to see York University then smoothly sailing on towards success in our deciding match in Skyscraper. However, the University of Windsor at this point in time have got everything, I think, in their hands to be able to give us a challenge against that concept.
A challenge indeed. We are going to be on Skyscraper. This is going to be a very difficult defensive-sided match that University of Windsor are going to be starting on defense on this map. There's going to be lots of choke points, long hallways, great anchor positions, and limited access to the outside. And quite frankly, I mean, that just lines up everything you want on the defense. You know, check that box, check this one. It's not impossible though, and York have proven that. They've proven it time and time again. You know, looking at where we were, where we started, how we got here, 45 to 55%. Very even. Everybody was kind of thinking it was close, but still leaning towards York. Let's see if York can pull it ahead. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going as we head on over into the operator bands for map number 3. The decider, it all comes down to this.
There we go. Skyscraper, York University, University of Windsor. It is essentially now no longer a best of 3. It's a best of 1. This is it. Win or lose, one team is going to see success here. With the first ban, I am going to even take a stab in the dark. All right, Zach, we're going to take a step. Blackbeard, okay, we got beaten to that one. Okay, Blackbeard was going to go, but I'm expecting a Valkyrie gone as well. Okay, that's going to be my other one I'm expecting. I think Valkyrie is going to be another one that's going to be taken out of there, purely because of how well we saw uniquely play on it. It's the mobility, it's the proactivity, and it's the playmaking that they could bring to their team with that Valkyrie that saw them successful in the first map. Brava, again, we're following a similar scenario as we did from the previous game. Blackbeard and Brava both biting the dust in the previous match. Are we going to see York University throwing the Valkyrie here? This would be where it would be.
You know, good information operator with that Valkyrie, but something that does surprise me is keeping up the Deimos on this map. Something that is a very dominant offensive operator on a map that is rather defensive sided. This is going to allow for York to come in offensively, get aggressive with this Deimos pick if they so choose, and pick off any sort of roamers that Windsor wants to throw at them. And we know they love to roam. There's your Valkyrie pick. Get her out of here. We're tired of the Valk. We don't want to see it anymore. And to round off the bands, Azami. That's not Azami. It's Malusi. Azami makes it on through tonight. Ladies and gents, how long has it been since we had an Azami game? I'm excited.
This is gonna be a hot one. Azami has been banned out of so many defending side lineups for the longest time. 34%.
There she is.
Let's remind ourselves from that defending side that in the hands of one of those fraggers on the side of Windsor, Sonic, who've been doing some great work in the first match. Oh, brother. Oh, Julian's rum glass is giving it the spice too, saying that they gave them the first one. Tox is donating his kills to Thunder Wizard, aiming to go 0-7.
You know, I'm looking at this right now. The Azami and the Mira, two great defensive operators who can bunker down. Azami who can just put up these mobile barricades wherever she wants. You know what? Maybe we'll have sight over on house side. Maybe we'll have sight over. It doesn't matter. You know, she'll put it in the middle of the hallway if she wants this to be the site. That's going to be the site. We're going to just create walls wherever, however we feel like. Great operator. I'm so surprised to see this one get let through. I'm not surprised to get slammed instantly. The one thing though that excites me even more than that, the Lord has been brought on in. We have a Tachanka game here in round 1 on map 3. I love me some Tachanka.
Did man just say Tachanka? Did I go back to Escape from Tarkov? No, sorry, that's the wrong category of game. No, this is Tachanka, and this is a character that is going to make moves look machine-like in Clockwork when it comes to textbook. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm looking for... Oh. Never
looking
mind.
for the foothold. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a foothold. Yeah.
Do you remember the last match though, where Uniquely and won again and again saw that fight? It was Tox fighting through the little pixel peak. I was almost expecting a blue face to pop through there from York University, given the way the game's gone so far. This time, Windows being breached through. Thunder Wizard finds one. No name for a second. Julian's Rome Glass is going to knock a third down. Tox for the fourth as the Rome Glass falls to the floor. 2 apiece.
A very swift 2 for 2, evening us out on the man advantage side. We're only 60 seconds in now at this point. The Azami's off the board. Really unfortunate. You know, we're talking up a big game for this Azami pick, but she's an operator who sees more and more value the longer she stays alive in the round. To get knocked off so early, she's not going to be able to get more of those Kibo barriers down. She's not going to be able to provide that utility to her team. This is really going to come down to the bunker of University of Windsor, and I mean, they have a solid bunker. The Mute Jammer is going to prevent any drones from going in. The bullet's gonna prevent Tox from even approaching. No name ends up knocking down Tox, a member off the board for the offense, and it comes down to Shifts and Elder Sigma.
Yeah, Shifts over that diffuser there, looking down, knowing that somebody could potentially be holding the angle onto where it got dropped. Gets reclaimed instead. The cautious approach from York University is the one we spoke so well of them for. Seeing much more fruition to success from the gameplay efforts invested to results. This time around, Windsor find themselves a man up. We see the drone just searching in and out for some information from York University there behind the wall as we're on board here with Uniquely. Holding this position, Vector in hand.
You know, it's unfortunate the drones can't get close. This Mute still having those jammers all over, but Minsk ends up going down. The Lord has worked his magic. Elder Sigma ends up getting the pickup. We're even back out. Line scan goes out. The Nomad rushes on into her death as Uniquely ends up getting that pickup. You can't get past these windows. This is what we're talking about. Diffuser going down, though. There's nobody over on site. You gotta run on over. He didn't stick it. He ran on off the Nitro. You know what? Maybe it was in his own favor at that point, but the Nitro ends up going off and is off the mark.
Doesn't find the shots though. No name crouches underneath the spray out of Shifts and repeaks with the better sets of shots. Finds the headshot and closes out the round there. Shifts. It's 6.5 dozen of the other, right? Some are going to argue at home. He could have stuck it. Would he have been able to get away from the Nitro in time? Yes and no. Well, as it plays out, we saw the stick didn't go through, and it leaves them stuck wanting when it comes to trying to find the kill in the 1v.
Nice and good start right now for University of Windsor, especially after that last map. They are now leading the charge 1-0, but take a look at the last map where they led 1-0. Take a look at map 2 where they won the second round, and you know, things were looking pretty hefty and a nice little swing back. They need to keep the momentum now. Show me 2 here. Show me 2 here, and I'm on board. Windsor's looking solid. Who am I kidding? I'm on board right now. I've been talking up the defense on this map the entire night, okay? I'm looking at it right now. University of Windsor just showing us why they wanted to come to Skyscraper. We're going to head on over to the opposite side, over to House, to remain on the second floor.
You heard it here first, folks at home. That's you in the chat, the champions and the championesses listening alongside the wonderful action on Twitch and YouTube alike. Zex Vexol approved, defense first sided on Skyscraper, folks. It's been approved, it's been sealed, sent off for the copyright and the trademarking, and it's officially in the textbook. He's full committed, and we're going to see University of Windsor either make the man a legend or a fraud. Either one of the two coming out, we're going to get to see it live on screen. And I'll be honest with you, we talked about people stepping up. I was about to praise them, and No Name gets cursed instead. Gabba knocking down one of the better players from the University of Windsor side so far in this one for First Blood.
They're aiming for the fraud path right now, I can tell you that much. Oh, never mind. We clean that one up very quickly. Julian's Rumglass able to knock down Thunder Wizard the Soleus. I'm very surprised to see this pick getting some action still after the massive nerfs to pull her on down. Minsk, though, knocking down Tok. Speaking of getting pulled on down, man advantage for University of Windsor for the defense, but the main breach is open, and it feels like the defenders have to watch multiple different angles as bullets are raging on past.
Yeah, Minsk is in a real tough spot right now. Got back and front, full 180 degrees with the pain. Now uniquely goes down from behind as well, and Minsk is completely and utterly exposed as Gabba finds that one. Spray over the top of the table that Minsk is hiding behind confirms that there is problems over that side. Sight being held still, trying to sneak in and out, puts the spray down the drone onto the door frame, and that merely forces the retreat. Gabba going to back off from that one as the drone comes in. That gets taken out, forces Gabba open into the space created by the drone to pick up Minsk, and that's a great bit of play from York University all round.
Minsk just caught in no man's land, not able to move left, not able to move right. Angles from the offense onto both sides of the defender from University of Windsor. Now it comes down to Sonic and Julian's Rumglass, who have both been doing rather great, but unfortunately Sonic ends up going down. Gabba ends up getting the pickup. Go ahead. Oh, the bait. You know what? He's crawling over. He wants somebody to come in, go for the res. He wants to get himself a second. He knows he's walking out of just the footsteps over the top. He didn't. He went right around the hole. You know he was watching. You know he knew it was coming. Shotgun railing through the floor. We're in the 60-second mark. Can the offense just get the plant on down and secure themselves a win?
That's wild that he doesn't manage to get that there. Julian with the 5 head, and then it seems like the York University side with the 12 head just outthinks the outthinker. Big brains the brain play. Gets one through the floor with the shotgun this time, manages to find success in the first round. He's going to be running out of ammo on that thing soon, though.
Great plant, though, coming in from York. They ended up jumping up onto the table because they knew that there was a Solis waiting downstairs for them. The run out! Julian's Rumglass ends up finding Gabba, and now it's a 1v1 scenario with only 25 seconds remaining. The Lions watching the long haul. The Nomad charge does end up going off and does tell exactly where this Solis is. Watching the long angle is going to be the Lion. He has no clue where he's coming. Time ticking down. Sees the diffuser. Shots railing in from across. He knows exactly where he is. Goes for the shot, and all the one has to do is wait. Shifts knows he doesn't have to push. Now runs on in. Does he have enough time? Can he find it? He can't find it. He gets it. He ends up securing the diffusal. Windsor take round 2.
What is going on? There's no way. He's just not close enough. I cannot believe my eyes.
It was like Shifts was sitting there expecting him to be up on top of the table, and like, I get it, but you don't have to, you know. He just had to be within range of the diffuser to actually get at it, and I mean, that just happened to be right behind the, you know, bulletproof bomb chassis. I'm
gonna test the limits of the bird record. We're gonna hit the rewind. We're gonna go back and we're gonna talk about mental nail in the coffin. Look at Windsor with that one there. You want to talk about knocking somebody over and really putting a mental blow home? That is one way in a 1 versus 3 with just Julian's Rumglass popping the heck off all over the place. Unbelievable sights here.
That was absolutely... you know what? I can't. It was rough, so I can't say it was clean, but it was executed well at the end of the day. Windsor, the first time in the first half, being up 2-0 and having 2 back-to-back wins nonetheless. Sonic looking for a little bit of a cheeky run out. Goes on cam to see if he can spot the members of the offense pushing up. Sees exactly where they're coming from. Lines it up. Does he go for it, though, is the question. It seems like the spawn peaks have not been so much in favor for University of Windsor so far. But that could very much change. Gabba ends up taking some good damage, and it looks like that is all that it will be.
See, I've liked this from both teams on the defending side, though, where we've said that they've not tried to be too over-aggressive, not tried to create too much. It's almost like, don't over-spoil the chef's cook class. Yeah, too many chefs in the kitchen will spoil the broth, and that's potentially what was happening here with a slight bit of overcook. But Windsor hold the ground. Julian finds his first. The Rumglass coming through clean and crystal full of the best quality rum we can find, it seems like, as he takes a sip of the first kill there. Shifts sliding on out of the action in this one.
This gets me every time. Knowing we can see the silhouette on the opposite end, knowing somebody sitting right on the other end of the wall. Bullets raging out through Julian's rum glass finds Gabba. 3 members of York are down, and Julian's rum glass so much gets traded back on out by Elder Sigma. However, 2 make it 1 versus 4 as Sonic puts Elder Sigma on down and gets the refrag.
There is absolutely everything happening in this, so I'm not even going to say that this is done. Thunder Wizard ready for the 1 versus 4, because why the heck not at this point? It's going to be a little bit tough when he loses half his HP in the first contest, and Uniquely's there to finish it off. Any thoughts of chaos and randomness instantly banished by some great team play, good coverings of the angle, and Uniquely there to put the final bullet home.
What a phenomenal showing. University of Windsor right there. You know what? I was going to say the last round, round 2, wasn't quite clean. That was clean. On the offsite, nonetheless. On one of the more difficult sites here on the map, they pulled it off and they made it look good. I'm excited to see the rest of this map right now. University of Windsor heading back upstairs, back up to the 2nd floor here for round number 4 as they are leading the charge 3-0.
So talk to me. With this Azami pick on the board, how do you counter it? What is the strength coming through from this Windsor side right now? I mean, because it's not just the Azami, but Julian's rum glass is popping off this game as well, alongside of Uniquely there, 3-1 supporting, 6-2 for Julian's rum glass respectively, is a very strong start from Windsor. So my question to you, Zek, is what do York University need to do now to stop this snowball? Because this really is heavy momentum in the favor of Windsor at the moment.
You know, as for the Azami pick, I'll kick that one off first. My big thing is hope Sonic puts himself in a position that allows him to get picked, and I would be looking to find those picks. I would be actively hunting these members out, because they already showed that the members of University of Windsor are willing to do that. They're willing to separate off. They're willing to roam around and take a look at this. We see multiple members cross map at this moment. Had you have a Deimos, Dokebi, you know, they have the Lion, sure, but is that going to be enough to really track down these members? I mean, a Jackal as well. Plenty of options here. The Azami needs to be aware of her positioning, aware of her surroundings. She needs to pull herself back and make sure she stays alive, because like we said, the longer she stays alive, the more of those Kiba barriers she can put up and the more utility she provides to her team. As for the shutdown to University of Windsor as a whole, man, I gotta tell you, no matter what it is, it needs to come quick. You know, this still being a very defender-sided map is going in the favor of University of Windsor. Tox ends up knocking down No Name for the opening pick, and Julian's rum glass ends up trading out Elder Sigma, and Tox ends up going down to Minsk as well. A nice little 1-2 swing for Windsor.
And everything we said about the York University side seeing success was every time a 1-for-1 trade was not left missing a response. This time its response is extremely late, though Thunder Wizard does come through strong with Sonic's frag. Julian's rum glass there is, however, backing their support, trading out on a separate section of the map with Gabba, and then finding Thunder Wizard in the extension. The third is on his left-hand side, tries to bang instead of waiting for the peek on the door frame, and Shifts catches him wanting at the end of the magazine. It is just Shifts left alive in a 1 versus 1.5, with Minsk missing the majority of their health.
All comes down to Shifts. Is Uniquely and Minsk enough for the defense to make this a 4-0 first half for University of Windsor, the largest lead that they have had so far? So good. Can they just put it away? The Lion has been spotted out, and all they gotta do is aim your barrels and close it out. Wait ever so patiently. He does have the diffuser on hand and doesn't understand that the Tachanka is waiting right around the corner, waiting for him to step on in. Frag ends up going through, and the Chamika launcher is ripping on through. Down goes the Tachanka. He's in the spot. He's going for the plant. It's the bait. Jumps up. Uniquely doesn't bite.
That's actually really good discipline from Uniquely, and now that he knows that he's got the off timing, he shouldn't be repeaking it, and he does repeat it, and Uniquely is there waiting for Shiftsy to just shift a little bit too much instead of going for the straight stick. I think between the mental game there, you can see both players trying to outplay the next move, not just the first one coming forward, but then the one following it, and Uniquely knowing that the tempo favors just playing the defending side, not trying to overcreate anything too unnecessary, sees him closing the round out successfully and with good composure there.
You know what's so nice about defense here in Rainbow Six Siege is you can do absolutely nothing And if the offense does absolutely nothing, you win. So at the end of the day, they need to come to you. They need to be the ones to make the plays. You just got to let it happen at the end of the day. Uniquely able to get that pickup and showing why they are just such a consistent player for this University of Windsor roster. I mean, even on the last map where it felt like all odds were against University of Windsor, Uniquely was still looking phenomenal, putting up some good picks, was able to find members of York and just absolutely be a force in the well, I should say a thorn in the side of York University from really securing a flawless victory. Here now on our third map, Uniquely's looking great.
I'm going to be honest with you, as a Windsor fan right now, you want to see York University at least get one successful round on the attack for fear of the reverse 6-0 when we go into the side swap. It's getting that scary at this moment in time with the domination being shown from the Windsor side. Thunder Wizard comes out with the first opening frag onto Julian's Rum Glass, and that actually is a huge pickup when it comes to how well everybody's been playing. Julian decides to commit the comment of he thinks he's throwing after that one. Not impressed with his performance there. But it is going to see York University at a numbers advantage for the first time this entire game.
You know, last time Julian was lore accurately throwing, stated so himself in chat, was back on map 1 and University of Windsor ended up taking that one. So, I don't know, maybe it's the strategy, maybe it's the play, maybe we see the Julian's throwing and University of Windsor end up just keeping this pace going. I mean, the guy's 9-4. Down goes Uniquely as well. Okay, so we have our two big fraggers right now for University of Windsor off the board. I think this is starting to look pretty solid for York, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, I mean, soon coming to Rainbow 16 near you, Julian's plot armor, apparently. New name change coming in after Rum Glass, depending on whether he's trying to throw intentionally to secure the victory or not. We'll see whether that one comes through to success in another round, as he's currently taking the first fast pass to the bench in round number 5. He's sitting this one out and watching from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Fun Wizard and company, also now losing a man themselves, Shifts being cursed by the caster bench to also take a seat. Sees a 4 versus 3 rocking in now. On board with Minsk. Scoping in, sees nothing. Thunder Wizard's getting a flash. Elder and Tox pick up one of theirs own apiece, and the third comes through then from Tox, and that's going to finish the round off. So York do find a successful attacking side round after some good gunplay and great backup in the 2 versus 1 push. Picking up some high potential characters on the first 2 frags. I mean, you talk about value of importance of a player. It's not just down to a solo performance to win a round, but when you are picking up the 2 top fraggers in the side, it does take a lot of power and punch out of the play.
There we go. York is on the board, cracked. This is a good feeling if you're York. That was a nice shutdown of the momentum for University of Windsor. Now to help build momentum for your own team, give us a second. Give us a 4-2 half for York. Show us that there's some life before we head on into a York defense on Skyscraper here for our third map. That would look pretty good, I would have to say, or at least feel pretty good for York, knowing that they can go a nice 2 and then maybe lose the offsite and then another 2, and I mean, we just even ourselves back out and take it into overtime. I think that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for it. I'm here for it. I mean, Shifts, you never know, might just find Super Saiyan mode and just evolve and pop off in 1v5 and then just full team ace. Stranger things have happened. We're about to see what's going to come on in with round number 6 here on board with the cameras. Nobody out by the Jade side of the pathway, entering in. Shots out, a little bit of a spray just to sort of alert to presence. Sky looks good today. Line up for the grenade coming out. 2 frags doubling down, interesting.
So this is round 6, and Julian has now run out 6 times over the course of this map. Yeah, of this map, by the way. All 6 rounds, Julian has gone for these run out unsuccessfully. Just about every single time, ended up getting picked off one of the times. I'm surprised that York isn't looking at this as an opportunity of, okay, you know what, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. There's the opening pick. Tox goes on down to Sonic. Hey, Julian, where'd your HP go, bud?
Something to do with those early peaks, I think, is the conversation and how that one goes. Definitely something to do with what that wonderful wise caster Zek was saying just a moment ago about whether we should be repeating the same action 6 times in a row and cause ourselves to be a little predictable. With 150 left on the clock, though, predictability in the bin. The round has developed so much that it's now down to guesswork as to whether people are an audio information minx. And uniquely, as we do not surprise ourselves seeing them 2 popping up in the key feed, for the kills there have two good picks of their own. Tox, Thunder Wizard, and Shifts, all three sitting out for this one. It's left on Gabba and Elder to try and group up together and make this 2v5 come to life.
Man, that Thunderbird buff putting in work. Not anymore for Julian. He's laying on the ground, but being able to sit there and just, you get a nice little stim heal to your HP bar, and then you'll slowly heal back up to full. Down goes Julian. No flawless round for Windsor. Elder Sigma gets the pickup, but now we know exactly where this Nomad is at. We know what side of the building she's on. She's got to go to the completely opposite side, though, and all the angles are being covered. Unfortunately, just off the mark was Sonic.
That's very close as that there, actually. Sonic not finding the shot, but Sigma also not quite able to return the shots in time. I think Sonic would have been out the peak even if the shots were spot on target. First challenge on the left does go down. Sigma finishes that one off with a pistol. Nice bit of flair. And quick swap to the secondary rather than having to reload to finish that one off is good.
This is going to be the problem, though, and this is what I'm talking about and what makes this map so defender-sided. This choke point right here, and then on the opposite side, but it doesn't matter if you're just Elder Sigma. Ends up eating the flash from the Ella mine, creates himself some distance, but ends up going down nonetheless. Mintz gets the pickup. That's going to be the half. 5-1 University of Windsor leading the charge as we switch sides.
This is a good match again in our third, the best of three, the deciding map now 5-1 for Windsor, but the tables have turned. The defending side showing to be extremely strong in the hands of the Windsor lineup. Can York replicate, duplicate, or even go one better on their defending half to be able to upset this and full reverse sweep into success?
You know, now that we're switching sides, though, we're talking about how defender-sided this map is. York is on defense. They're going to have those tight hallways, those choke points. They're going to have those anchor positions that have been oh so strong, and that limited external access we were talking about. Not a whole lot of windows, not a whole lot of doors. You really got to find a way into this map and work your way across, go for a nice little sweep. Let's see if their approach is a little bit different than York's was, though. And I mean, just taking a look at it so far, it's a little bit different. I mean, they have a Fenrir, so that's kind of different, but they're going into that trap mindset that they ended up bringing out back in, oh god, I want to say back in map number 1. We're seeing Tox on the Capcan. I mean, first off,
it's an interesting setup. I think the smoke that was, or the gas, like you said, that was being deployed in that first map definitely slowed down the rate of play a lot and saw success for the York side. I don't know whether the University of Windsor are going to play into it, though. I feel like Sonic and Julian's Rome Glass are going to be looking for some of these more wider approaches in with an aggressive play. We've seen Julian's Rome Glass has not been afraid to run directly into the line of fire to achieve success. Whether successful or not was not something we've seen to talk about, because every time we curse Julian, he seems to listen to us on the casting bench. Same time as we're on board with Tox. Doesn't find the first spray out the window.
I do see a little bit of a difference here in the approach for the offense from University of Windsor. They're looking a little at that roam clear, okay? They're bringing in the Jackal, tracking the footprints, see if they can catch any roamers. Great. They're bringing in this Iana, a great entry frag operator who can throw out a clone. Did he just get, like, fired at as soon as he did that? Yes, he did. Okay, good. Somebody's walking up right behind him, and he has no clue. He's just going to throw his drone in there, though, and see if anybody's sitting inside Dragon. I thought bullets just went right past his head as soon as he punched that window.
Sometimes you've got to take that high-risk, high-reward play at the time when you can, but sometimes it's also not going to pay off as well. You're going to find yourself being caught out if somebody's quick to the punch. Gabba, speaking of being quick to the punch, is going to find the first onto Mince. That's then going to inspire them onto a second into No Name. Shots out of Uniquely finds Gabba shut down, though. Tox then finds one onto Sonic. Uniquely puts Tox out of the equation. 2 versus 3. Uniquely still with a fair amount of health left as well.
This is dangerous, though. I'm looking at who's alive. It's the Azami, it's the Fenrir, 2 operators who are great for their utility with the Azami, with these walls. Take a look at this, just completely preventing people from moving forward, but also this Fenrir who's able to throw out those FNAT mines and just deny vision. You can't play 30-second meta against this operator. You'll try to rush in, you'll instantly be blinded, and congratulations, there goes the end of your push. If the defenders are ready for you, they will put you in the ground. 3 versus 2 scenario. Man advantage for York, and 40 seconds are on the clock.
time's going to be the biggest problem right here for them. It's just going to be able to actually get it into a site to get the diffuser planted is going to be the hardest point of access right now. Both door frames being held successfully by the York University members left alive. Reloads needing to come in. Sigma and Shifts both down to 1 bullet apiece at the wrong time. Could have been awkward, but now fully reloaded and still spraying off.
There's
Time's
the
just not
F-net.
going to be enough.
Absolutely not. Elder Sigma gets the stab onto Julian's rum glass, and down she goes, Elder Sigma, finishing it off, finishing the round, and giving York the second of the map.
It's kind of hesitant, waiting for a play to pop off there, but the play just never came. The York University side had all of their lines fully fortified. No excess point for the Windsor lineup, and that moves York University to their second successful round. Like we said, needing to see them see every single round back to back to back successful to really get in for a challenge. Windsor pick up a round, and it's going to push them towards that map point, match point, and series point scenario that really could just be the doomsday thought process that York University side is looking to avoid.
I am looking at a very difficult position right now for York, though, okay? We played upstairs one side, we go upstairs the other side over on house. Now we have to play an offsite. We got to play that tertiary site. This is where things get difficult. You lose one of those. We went 2-1. That's going to put Windsor at 6. That's going to put them at that match point set point. Okay, cool. Now you're back over. You can play these 2 upstairs sites again. You go 1-2. Now you got to play that offsite yet once more. So you put yourself in this difficult position where you need to win the offsite. I mean, you got to win the second floor site nonetheless first. But then you have to win an offsite, and I think that's what's going to prove difficult. Can York do it? Absolutely. I mean, hey, Windsor did it. York has all the capabilities to make it happen. Just let's see it. Let's see it. Let's bring it on back, and let's tie this on up. You okay there? Uniquely able to get that rappel off button. There we go. Made it on up.
You're absolutely right, and that's one of the crucial parts that I think a lot of people at home sometimes can forget when they're sitting and watching this competitive level of gameplay comparative to the pub games they get to play on an evening or weekly basis, is that it's an extra level of thought process. That 3D chess match that each of these players are using inside of their heads in the macro and the micro mechanical gameplay, alongside of all the real-time reaction response, proactivity and reactivity that they're having to induce into the gameplay that sees them so much higher skilled than just your average player. That thought process of, well, yep, we have to go 3 rounds to get this most successful round with the best thought for success when it comes to being able to defend or attack successfully. And on a defensive side of favored map, the attacking side needs to push the advantage. Gabba finds the first blood onto Minsk. Julius Rumglass also going down as well. Tox on the floor, 4 versus 3, and 1 minute 50 left on the clock.
So far, I'm getting about halfway through, and that demo's still available, and this is something that I was kind of expecting to see a little bit earlier on from either of these teams. This Deimos Jackal combination, being able to track any roamers. The problem is, you're not tracking any roamers. You're tracking all the people who are on site right now. I'm sure that doesn't feel too good for Sonic. And I'm telling you right now what doesn't feel too good for No Name. A bullet to the head. Elder Sigma ends up getting the pickup. A little bit of damage onto Thunder Wizard, but it's a 4-2 scenario. Double the members right now for the defense. York University putting themselves in a nice commanding position here on round number 8. We are ticking down to the 60-second mark, and York University is looking to take themselves a 3rd round. But Sonic ends up finding one onto Elder Sigma, bringing us ever so closer.
Did say this was the round that was called the Boogeyman. If you're thinking for the York University side, for them to find success here would be to shut out one of the potential ways that Windsor can push ever closer to victory. Uniquely finds one onto Thunder Wizard though, and that's going to level the tides up 2 apiece. Grenade comes through, gets just out of the way, does Shifts. Ears ringing, but still fully healthy. Diffuser down as that kill comes out of Gabba is great, but Sonic slams one into the header, Shifts, and it's literally going to be Sonic and Gabba, the last 2 left alive in the 1 versus 1.
Oh, he can track him! It's the 1v1. You're against the 1v1 character right now with this Deimos. He can spot your position precisely, and you're just seeing offset pings of him. This is a perfect scenario for Sonic if he can make it happen. And it's just if he can make it happen, though, at the end of the day. Right now, Gabba just needs to survive this, just needs to wait it out. But he has a whole another charge that he can use. Turning around the corner, 10 seconds, time ticking down. He has the diffuser, just run away is the plan. He's got to pull the goo mine out and then get the diffuser. Going for the plant only now, you gotta stick it. Shooting through the floor, it's a defense win. York end up taking it, and now it's 3-5 here.
Double shot to the floor. doesn't fake the stick, doesn't get given the timing, and actually that's some exceptional play from the York University side. Had everything in their favor without that diffuser already being planted. The seconds tick down, and as soon as you hit that 15 to sort of 10-second mark, you don't really have an ability to fake a plant and get off and make a play work. You just have to commit to it. And when that situation comes to the fore, the defending side has the tempo in their court, because all you've got to do is just not give up your life and be ready to swing when the diffuse commit comes through.
I gotta be honest, I feel like all the cards were in University of Windsor's hands at that point. You have quite literally the 1v1 operator. Deimos can track somebody's position precisely, real time. He can see every single movement that they're doing. You just kind of gotta go for that push as you have your gadget going. And the other person, they can see you, but it's delayed. They'll see a ping of you, okay, and then a couple seconds later, they'll see where you're at now, and then a couple seconds later, they'll see where you're at now. So you just gotta make use of that utility, and it just did not happen. We didn't end up seeing that. So kudos to you. I mean, if you're a York fan, congratulations. That felt pretty good. We were able to pull up another, but now we're in that scenario we talked about. Now we're in the offsite. Now they need to hold this one in order to pull us to overtime. This is the big one.
The guys in the chat are having a great old time whilst we're busy yapping away. I love the fact that the guys are still having a great game, especially so deep into this. And this is a close one. I mean, York University only need 2 more rounds of success to see us being pulled all tied up again. Windsor, however, need to try and find something hammered home soon, because otherwise that victorious lead that they'd started off, the strong charge off the rip, is not going to see them looking confident towards converting out into series victory. Claymore down. But on the second attempt, I think we're having a little bit of a moment of difficulty there. Julian just deciding, putting it down the second time. He wanted to just safety check it all first before he put the hardware down. Quality assurance, definitely key.
Closing in as well, spots out the castle, but Talk spots out a bullet to the face. Minsk ends up getting the pickup, uniquely ends up going down as well. There's Sigma. Sonic ends up finding a Thunder Wizard, and Elder Sigma ends up getting traded on out by No Name. We got 3 members for the defense off the board. 2 remaining, 4 for the offense. University of Windsor chugging along, tracking them down. Let's see if they can put this away. Let's see if they can take us to match point.
I get a stinking feeling that Gabba's got other thoughts in mind, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I have all the faith in Shifts being able to back him up, and Gabba has made magic happen when needed the most for the York University side. We are on board with Shifts in towards this B-side location. Got a good positioning right now. Minsk looking for some intel of their own. Shifts is not moving. This is going to be a gargoyle statue Shifts until contact. Oh, it gets pre-fired out, and No Name finds a different angle. That's going to be one down. There's a big pick for the Windsor side, and that's Sonic finishing it off as Gabba is now left exposed with too many problems to handle.
That was so unlucky for the Azami there in that situation. I mean, you're holding one angle. You can see the pixel of somebody like they're about to turn that corner. And unfortunately, their teammates have their back. A swing around through the vertical. You're able to just get the pick off and save your teammate's life, save the round. And we are on match point, set point. It all comes down to this. This is the moment we've been waiting for. They're heading back up to the second floor. They did well on this one before. Can they do it again? University of Windsor looking to put this one away.
This is going to be really close. I don't know if it's going to go this one. I think we might still have a round, maybe 2 before we go out of this one. But what a crazy, crazy little play.
Oh, man. I said they need to win once on the offsite. That's it. We can still get 2 here on the upstairs on the primary sites and then have to go back downstairs, but that needs to then be the one. And I'm going to be honest, it's a much tighter position than I want to be in to win the one. Then, oh, man, I'm just like putting it all together right now. If I'm York, what do we need to do? How can we make this happen? We can make this happen. It's very doable. Can you not shoot that from there? Oh man, that's unlucky.
That's an unfortunate one, is that there. We're going to slide on into what potential success we need to see out of the York University side here. And I think the first one is working into that Azami success rate, like you said. Slow the rounds down, keep the Azami alive, and play as much of that additional cover to your territory as possible. It's going to be a tough one, as Windsor have played aggressive really well. It depends how much pace they're going to bring to round number 10.
You know, I'm looking at the setup that they have here. I'm kind of wondering if they want to focus on the vertical a little bit more. I know we saw this a little bit earlier from University of Windsor. The run out. He jumps. He gets it and knocks him down. Gabba ends up knocking down Minsk with a very cheeky, very ballsy run out, I must say.
It's a good bit of confident play from Gabba, though. And again, we've talked about where predictability comes in. And the Windsor side have broken out windows from these rope positions and then have just leant over the balcony waiting for the action to settle whilst the challenge comes out from the inside player. That run out then being left open is a great way to play it, and you see the success coming through. This time Tox gets taken out by Julian's run glass though, and Tox having a much quieter game in the third here than the first two.
He's taking his time. He's, you know, looking for his picks. He's hunting down right now Gabba. Ability worn off and immediately trade over. Sonic sends one out. Trying to see who you can find. Oh, he failed. He was sitting on top of a mute jammer. The direct counter. That is extremely unlucky for him. Not able to track down the positions. Like I said, I thought they were going for a little bit more of a vertical play. Defense trapped. They're locked down. 1 for 1. Very even. And we're halfway through the round. Is this going to be it, Cracked?
Well, that's going to be it for Tox for this round, that's for sure. Didn't realize that a player of such exceptional skill was willing to take getting put down so easily, but Tox is more than not having none of the nonsense in the chat, because he's all washed up now. So we'll see if Tox has got to respond to the next few rounds. But speaking of the players left alive, Julian's run glass only half of it. Elder Sigma now eviscerated before my eyes as Uniquely puts a bullet between those two there. Shifts and Gabba, the last two left alive again. We're seeing deja vu scenarios. Julian's run glass finds Shift, Gabba finds No Name, and Gabba in the 1v2. Gabba for the first
the swing.
Run glass. Ooh.
Ends up finding Julian's run glass. Did see another member down the hallway. The diffuser's going down, though. Is he able to locate it? Is he able to find it? Is he able to stop it? Shoots through the wall, gets the pickup, but the diffuser has been dropped. It didn't get stuck. Goes through, and the attackers end up winning. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it. University of Windsor take the night.
Yeah, University of Windsor, they're able to rely on the main man, myth, and legend that is Sonic. Seen at multiple occasions throughout this best of 3, slamming some great shots home with that crosshair placement being on point and finding the headshot with the initial burst and spray. Julian's run glass there coming out on top for the Windsor side, the back end of that one. But what a phenomenal series, and taken home by the University of Windsor 2-1 after an absolute banger of a blockbuster, I have to say.
You know, University of Windsor showing that we will run it back for the season 1 run back, but we'll still take it in 2-1. We'll keep it going. Try again next time. But I gotta tell you, York looked phenomenal tonight. The run out plays, the aggression, just the absolute pressure that they felt. I'm excited to see these two teams clash the next time around, because I can tell you what, there's gonna be some VOD reviews. There's gonna be some action going on. Back to the drawing board maybe for York, but they're going to come back, and they're going to come back swinging. And you know who really came out swinging right there at the end? You mentioned Julian's rum glass looking phenomenal. You know, like he said, I'm trolling. I'm trolling, and look what happens. Game 1 and game 3. Here we are with University of Windsor coming out on top.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just takes to get a little bit of a beating in the first 2 games to motivate yourself to come back swinging. Some players, when put under pressure, fold and cave. Other players get ticked off, wound up, and then inspired to greatness. So it's good to see the evolution of these players under the challenge and the pressure of the competitive environment, thriving and showing us what they've got to display when it comes to the levels of skill. But that, I believe, is all we have got for this series of 3, and it's been an absolutely awesome experience for myself to be able to join you here, Zach. I am extremely grateful and thankful to yourself and the CCL for having me here. Big appreciation. Thank you.
We're super excited to have you, and looking forward to many more. I was even just about to ask you how it felt having your first Rainbow Six Siege cast and having it here with a bunch of Canadians. I mean, you guys, phenomenal scene right here, a phenomenal league, phenomenal people, phenomenal fans out there. Keep supporting these teams. Keep at it. Keep right here at the Canadian Collegiate League. Rainbow Six Siege takes place every Monday, 8 p.m. EST, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We will be right back here next week, Monday, but we have started up our very first season of Valorant, and that's going to be taking place every single Sunday. Catch it this Sunday, 3 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. You're going to find it once this channel goes live, and we did mention a little bit earlier, I'm going to bring it back up If you click the follow button, you get the notifications. It lets you know when we're going live with these matches. But until that happens, I have been Zach Vexel. Here on the desk with me has been Cracked Wisdom, Kirk, and Disciple. Our cams for tonight, our production for tonight. We all here at Canadian Collegiate League want to give you a huge shout out, huge thank you for coming on out. And until next time, we will see you. Have yourselves a good night.